All right, you know what time it is. It's time for the SpaceBro Show. That's right, your number one Friday night podcast that sometimes happens at 10, sometimes 10:15, sometimes 10:30, and tonight 10:40. Thanks, Gio. But we're here to talk about the awesomeness of Star Citizen, the continued development of something we all know and love. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it, and let's go over and meet each one tonight. Tonight, joining me, we will have the amazing Toy Grubbin will be here. Also, the amazing Uber Nerd. And of course, phoning it in because he's super late as always, the one and only, you guessed it, Gio Get Money will be here tonight. All right, guys. All right. We had to do it. We couldn't help ourselves. I couldn't help myself. I had to do it. So it was just the way it is. Trolling Gio a little bit. You know.
Derek Dumb. Nice picture of Derek Dumb.
Yep.
There.
So Gio's running a bit late. We had to kind of suspend the show. We know he'll be here shortly, but we'll get him in here in a little while. He'll hop in Discord, and we'll just.
He
join
ran
up.
out of singles at the nudie bar. So.
That's right. Had to do it. So, guys, how have you been? You know, we're doing this new SpaceBro rotation. So, guys, got everything saved up for the last couple of weeks. Have you been, Mr. Uber?
Well, I am now gainfully employed during the daytime.
Awesome.
And doing some really cool stuff, making guns of multiple caliber, which is awesome.
There you go.
I'm working as a machinist now, and very exciting.
Nice. Cool. Looks like I got to fix the SPG command. I got last week's people in there. And Toy, how have you been, buddy? I know you've been busy with family like me, and you've been squared, even tripled what I have been with family. So what have you been up to, man?
Crazy. But finally slowing down.
Good.
So get back to streaming again finally.
Streaming? You sure you know where the live button is and all that? We'll have to go through and retrain you.
I bought a stream deck. Everything, I just punch a button.
Just push a button and it's all good?
We're getting fast food now. You know, you just press
boop,
buttons
boop,
with
boop,
pictures.
Stream decks are awesome.
You need to know nothing.
Oh, I thought he said stream duck. I'm like going,
what's a
stream duck?
It's new tech. We'll tell you all about it off the air. It's brand new, fresh off the presses. There you go. There you go. But it's been a crazy week of testing. I think everybody's had a lot of fun. There's been some great stuff I've experienced. I know you guys have had some really weird experiences. Uber just had a pretty cool one that we'll talk about here in a little bit too, just with the new client. And then some great videos put out there too. We had I can't remember who did the test with the Caterpillar. Was with the physical object where they blew it up and they had all the crates fall down through the Atmo and all that stuff. That was amazing though. So we'll be looking at probably that clip and some more today. But super excited about the way 3.0 has been going. What's your guys' experience been this past week through the last couple builds? Because we're seeing a patch almost every other day and stuff. So what have you thought about why Toy struggles to put on his special gear and all that stuff?
That thing doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I haven't had as many CPU spikes, but I still get them. So I've had a CPU limiting software just to keep to be able to stream because I have one machine, right?
Yeah.
And for those people who didn't know and they're like, where's Uber been? I stream at night now.
Yeah.
It's the only time I have because I work. But when I do play the patches, they seem like my frame rate. I think 3 patches ago, 3 or 4 patch was it? And it was like Monday. I think it was Monday's patch, or no. Tuesday's patch that was really good. In fact, I was getting constant 50 to 70 frames per second.
Nice.
With people in the verse, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, whoa, this is awesome. But then there was, the CPU spikes that were just killing it, right?
Yeah. Which we hope a lot of that's going to be resolved with the culling, right? I mean, when they get some of the binding and unbinding of the culling in there?
Well, no, I don't know that the CPU. So I think the CPU spikes were just improper, improper reservation, right? So that when they call to a CPU to say we need to use these cores, the reservations were going out, and they were improperly being done, and it was locking up the CPU.
Yeah.
So basically, it was trying to take exclusive
control of it,
reserving all the cores for it, but not using it, right?
Yeah.
Which was causing a like people getting stuck in turnstiles or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
jamming it all up.
Right. So it was just jamming it all up. I don't know exactly what was causing that, but again, I think it was Tuesday. I was having some really awesome frame rates. So, and that was with, I believe Tuesdays did have 50. No, it was 40. I think there were 40 people in with that.
Yeah.
Nice.
But man, I can't wait because it was so smooth.
Yep. I'd say one of the things that I've encouraged people to do too is I wouldn't normally advise anybody. First off, don't play it offline. Not supposed to play the client offline. I know some people have chosen to do that. I don't know what the point in that is. We're in a testing phase, and from what I understand from some of the Spectrum threads, apparently that gives them improper crash errors and all sorts of stuff when you do that. So I'd advise you not to. And unless you absolutely have to, like what Uber's doing, because he needs it for streaming, I wouldn't use any CPU limiters because we need to get the proper data to them. Obviously, he needs to do that so he can actually show you what's going on with certain things. But I wouldn't. If
I didn't use this CPU limiter, my entire stream would crash.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I was not doing it. I only did it like 10%.
Yeah.
And I was not doing it so that I was not trying
but
to.
For the regular tester out there,
so.
for the regular tester out there, we'd advise them to, you got to play vanilla, guys. You really do. Because that's going to give them the proper data to do the thing. That's really what we need to do. And it's unfortunate because even myself, I see a lot of frames go down and whatnot from build to build. And other builds, it'll be magnificent. But we're just got to struggle through. And that's what's going to get it from the stage it's in to live. So yeah, it's been pretty good. Toy, have you been able to get any game in? I know you've been slammed with family, so I don't know if you've been able to play any recently.
Yeah, I was in the other night while you were playing, actually.
Yeah.
On a different planet. Moon.
Different moon.
So,
yeah. Right on.
Oh, and the LODs have really improved a lot.
Yeah, they have.
I was flying over Daymar, and I was looking at my ship from a third-person perspective, looking down at Daymar, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" All the ridges, and you can see mist in the valleys and in the canyons, and it's just like, it's so cool.
Yeah,
and it's the shading and the shadows, and especially that twilight band that goes around the moon when if you see like a half moon look, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that with some of those effects, that some weather is in the game. They have some in the game. It's active in there. It is not on an algorithm where it varies or it builds to big storms like what they want to happen down the road. But we do have wind effects. We do have some
dynamic.
Yeah, correct.
So it just speeds up, slows down, speeds up, and it's just kind of uniform across the moon.
Yeah, absolutely. And, they've talked about that a lot. And there's a lot of information that I didn't realize to the degree of what they had in from the ATV with the flight models, right? With the atmospherics and the flight models. Because a lot of people, there's been a lot of stuff in the forums, a lot on Reddit, back and forth about the flight model shouldn't operate like this. I think the flight model should be like this. I think atmospheric flight should be like this. People wanting, even in our chat, saying, gosh, I really wish lift was in the game. I wish there was an actual real lift mechanic and all those type of things inside the atmospherics and stuff. And I think it helped people understand the direction what they're going from this last day of TV. And if you guys haven't got a chance to watch it, it really talks about they're not done with atmospherics, but there's a reason why when you're on moons like Yella, it's dynamically different than somewhere like Daymar, because like Yella has a 1% atmosphere. So you're getting very minor effects of anything there. Whereas Daymar has a lot more atmosphere, a lot more volume, but at the same time, it's still not planetary atmosphere either. So, so you're going to get different gravity impacts at different places and whatnot.
Yeah.
But dynamically, the other thing that they didn't cover, and I'll see what you guys think about this, is I feel like if they had true lift mechanics, like what some people want in the game, you would have a big problem with ships like the Aurora, the Starfarer, things that like are flying bricks. I don't think they
they've
would
already
operate.
talked about that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's... But
just-
they also said, I can't remember his name, the guy that's in charge of basically making all that stuff happen.
Mhm.
The model they're using now, they're replacing it after
Yeah.
3.0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They did
they're
explain.
faking it. It's fake it till they make it. So
It's always going to be faked. Remember what
Yeah.
he said about the fluid dynamics
Yes.
simulations? That's never going to happen. So the only way you can actually get real lift and real aerodynamics in a game is with fluid dynamic simulations, right? Never going to happen. They're not going to do that in Star Citizen. They are going to fake it the whole way, but they
Yep.
are going to, based on the layer of atmosphere that you're in on a planet, they are going to make certain effects happen. So for example, if you're in a Gladius and you come in and you pull some really heavy G's, well, if those G's, if that turn is too tight for the Gladius, you're going to rip your wings off, right? And they've already said that that is going to happen. Chris Roberts wants that to happen, so that is coming. However, it's not going to be it's going to be simulated aerodynamics, not real aerodynamics, because some games, some flight simulators actually use real aerodynamics, you know.
Absolutely. But again, they said this is not a flight simulator.
Right. So
No,
they're going to simulate aerodynamics, not actually emulate aerodynamics. They're not going to bring in any kind of fluid dynamics into the game, but they're going to do all the things that you would expect to happen.
Yep.
Right.
And I'm very happy about that, to be honest, because there's a huge issue with, I mean, all they need to do is add the essence, right? All they need to just
Right.
like, okay, if you're flying a refrigerator instead of a winged, aerodynamic type spacecraft, you're going to get some of that extra turbulence. You're going to not have as much control in those atmospheres that have heavy, regular Earth-like atmospheres in them and stuff.
Right.
You're going to feel
Right.
that dynamic, and that's all we need. I don't want to try to figure out the airspeed velocity of my Aurora fully laden. I don't want to do that. I mean, some people might, but this isn't the game for that, in my opinion.
but every single ship has to be fine-tuned for that.
Yeah.
Because they're not using an actual real-life
Yes.
simulator.
Yep.
They
Exactly.
have to get in and do that with every single ship.
Yes.
Well,
And see what feels good.
Yes.
okay,
because
so they are
technically-
going to pick out places. So what they've talked about this in the past. They're going to basically pick out places on the wings on the craft themselves that will react with atmosphere in a particular way.
Mhm.
Then they're going to create a set of rules that govern this layer, the next layer up, the next layer up, and so on and so forth. And it's just going to be, if you cross the boundary layer, then your ship's vibration or will be, and they already have that in a little bit. If you've noticed the max safe speed, the lower you get, the lower that max safe speed goes. And that's
Yes.
because the atmosphere is getting thicker.
Yep.
Right. So they've already got some of that in there. But again, it's faked. It's not, and it's always gonna be faked, but they're gonna bring more in to give that more feeling, more oomph, right? Like the idea that if you take a too tight of a turn like if you're going 500 meters per second and you flip your Gladius, like right now, nothing happens, right? Other than you might black out. But if you do that in atmosphere and you flip your Gladius and go, like a nice big wing flip or whatever, your wings are going to snap off.
Yeah.
You just
Well,
can't.
they also
handle that
talk
stress.
about you not being able to maintain control at high velocity speeds in
Right.
atmosphere too.
Yeah.
There's a point of where you're going too fast, and with all the other factors, you just can't maintain control, and your ship's going to spin out of control.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But the biggest takeaway, I think, was, like I said, the fact that they have one set up now, and as soon as 3.0 comes out, they're replacing it. the entire atmospherics for all the planets, everything is getting replaced.
Right.
As soon as 3.0 gets
Yeah.
done and they move on.
Which, let's be fair, though, is just a different set of data. It's not like they're redoing the entire planets. They're not redoing, you know what I
but
mean?
they're redoing the atmospherics.
Yeah, which is just
for everything.
settings. It's just settings on how it reacts and stuff like that. Because until they have
But
the
see,
dynamic
that's
weather
all tied
systems
into
in,
the
they can't.
weather systems too.
Yeah, but the
They wanted to.
That's why I think they're.
I agree.
That's why I think that it's like the item 2.0 system. They're at the item 1.0 as far as atmospherics now.
Yeah, they're at atmospherics, Atmo 1.0.
Yeah.
They're going to be, as soon as the 3.0 comes out, then 3.1 or however, their
Or
nomenclature
3.01
is.
or whatever they decide it is.
No. I mean, like the patch that is destined to come out in April, right? The quarterly patch.
Yeah.
I think they're going to call it 3.1, and it'll be the
Maybe.
the Evocati PTU, and that'll probably start near the end of January or maybe the middle, right? Because they need to have it. You know how long this has been in PTU, from Evocati to PTU and so on and so forth. I think with the full mechanics and the full 3.0 in, I think the next couple of patches won't be as hard, but I don't expect to see. I'd love to see ArcCorp coming out in April, but I'm kind of thinking it might come out
I
in
hope
June.
what they do is once this goes live, which I don't predict it'll go live until probably mid-January, but hopefully when this actually goes live, they'll basically start implementing new PTU stuff by, at that point or in February. Because why not just mess with the inter patches and stuff all the way through there? They might as well just keep it going if they can.
I think they will.
Yeah.
That was my belief, is that there will be a perpetual PTU.
Yes.
That will go through its stages. Evocati first stage, second stage release. Evocati first stage, second stage release. And it won't stop. They'll have two parallel builds, but it'll be easier because they have the Delta Patcher. Before it was so hard because it had to be one full-on 30 gig build on this, and every single time they updated, it was 30 gigs, and it was just really troublesome. But now, with the way that they have things set up, they can do it differently. So.
Yep. I hope they do it that way, and I hope that what they do is then they'll take their currently QA team and they'll divide it, and they'll give a quarter of those people to work on what's live, just little fixes here and there. And then they'll take 3/4 of their internal QA team and put them all assigned with the PTU group, with Evocati, and rolling through those iterative builds. That way they have the QA teams knocking out bugs, but they're knocking out things that need to be handled for both builds, in other words, at the same time. They're ingesting it and do it that way.
As far as 2018 goes, it's not... I mean, this year was the year of rebuilding the Star Engine.
It's supposed to be the year of...
Yeah.
But
now
features
that the Star Engine is done, 2018 is going to be content, mostly content. I mean, they're still adding on features to the Star Engine, but it's going to be a lot more content this next year.
Well,
every time Toy says Star Engine, he triggers a Crytek and probably.
Yeah, right now there's it's we're gonna write down, and they're gonna owe us $1 million for every time Toy Grubbin says Star Engine on their thing. We're gonna just hash it up.
Triggered.
They had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Without starting from scratch.
Yep.
Crytek, the CryEngine is a great small first-person shooter engine.
Yep.
Makes beautiful. Nobody can touch it as far as beauty goes. The problem is, it's for small maps. It's not made to be a big universe thing.
Yeah, it's not an MMO.
Yeah.
With as much stuff as they're adding in this game, they just can't use the CryEngine to do all this stuff. So, I mean, I can't blame them.
I know, and the thing is, and we'll dive into it more here in a little bit. The thing is, people can argue back and forth. I hear people all the time saying, "Oh, it was a bad idea to go with CryEngine. It was a good idea." The one thing I think people always forget about their engine choice in this, and even though they had to go in and redo it and all this stuff, think about all the employees. I don't think we really realize the full amount of employees and other things they've gained from that relationship they built initially with Crytek. Now, Crytek mismanaged themselves in many degrees, and that led them to the perpetual issues they're having now, as well as probably this legal battle that may be ensuing, or settlement or whatever the game is with that in the end. But Crytek, I think if they didn't have that relationship with Crytek in the beginning, and even if they went with an engine that was more suited for what they wanted, I think what would have happened was they wouldn't have ended up with some of the great developers, assets, and designers that they have right now. Because let's be honest, a lot of these guys got hired by CIG because Crytek didn't fulfill any of their obligations to them. These guys hadn't got paid in a year by Crytek, some of them. Yep. And they found a brand new home with CIG. They worked really hard. They rebuilt all the flaws that were inside the engine that they originally worked on in order to develop it from what it was to what it is today into this. And that was under the direction of CIG. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had that opportunity.
Everything they had with CryEngine, they had to gut and redo.
Yes.
So, like I said, it was a good start. This was a decision made back at the beginning, too.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
before all this feature creep happened.
Remember when everybody was panicked because Crytek was going under, and CIG assured us, "Don't worry, we paid for the rights to the engine itself. We bought it, so we don't have to be connected to Crytek anymore. Yeah. If they go under, which we hope they don't, because we love them, and I remember I have to go back and find that letter, but I
remember that exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, they said they bought the rights outright.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't have to, so it would not, and to me, it's like, well, what the hell is Crytek doing? I think that what Crytek is just desperate again for money because they can't manage money worth a damn.
Well, I mean, Amazon in chat finally.
Amazon paid a gigantic amount of money to buy the engine lock, stock, and barrel,
and then give it away for free now.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter because they paid Crytek a crap ton of money.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying the for the arguments about the code and all that stuff. Again, I guess we're going to dive in this now. Gio, welcome to the show, by the way.
Hey.
So,
hey there, it's Derek Dumb.
Did you see how I introduced you earlier? You probably missed that part, huh?
Yeah, I missed out.
Okay, here I introduced you like this. I said, and Gio Get Money joins us here on the show, and is like, oh crap!
Oh man, look at that no beard, bro. God damn.
Yeah.
It was my favorite developer of all time.
I know, right?
Absolutely. But no, we got this. This is going to be you for the duration of the show now. So you looked really happy and ready to rock and roll. So that's all you.
Wearing your Star Citizen track jacket.
Perfect.
Which is funny because I'm wearing it now.
There you go. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, Gio's a little loud on the mic, I know.
Hold on, let me fix it. I think I know what the problem is.
Yeah, crank that down a notch.
All right, did I fix it? Does it sound better?
Well, it sounds different. It's still loud, but I think that might just be Gio's natural thing. I'll adjust it on my end. Don't worry about it, because I don't want you to accidentally trip over and unplug anything.
Holy shit.
There we go. How's that?
Well, now you're coming in stereo, which is good.
Yeah.
Full-fledged Gio. All right, but anyway, again with the Crytek stuff, I think that we can and this is something I just want to say too about this, and we talked a little bit about on my channel about this as well. We can armchair lawyer this all day. We don't know the terms of the contract explicitly between CIG and Crytek, and I'm sure Crytek had a lot of assurances from CIG about, hey, we'll use your logos. This game will help you get on the feet. We don't know. They could have promised them the moon, because it seems like if you look at the pattern, what CIG does with these other companies, they find companies that aren't necessarily in financial trouble, but maybe they're looking to get their big jump off or a big sponsorship. Look at the faceware stuff, all these things. And they make these things saying, hey, you'll be part of the program going forward. And I think Crytek had the expectation of remaining the main engine into the future. But so did CIG at that time. I think the question that happens is, based on the terms of what their contract was, at some point there has to be a clause in every contract that's the point where, hey, this isn't going to work out. We need to, void this contract, or we're going to need to go our separate ways or something. And we don't know what that was.
I have one thing to say to you.
Mm-hmm.
Both the people who wrote this contract now work for CIG.
This is true.
And here's another thing. My guess is that they have been keeping track of every single breach that Crytek has done through like no fault. Through fault of their own, basically business mismanagement. But things that they were supposed to do never did. Basically, my guess is that that's what the counter claim. So there's initial claim. It's just they're not even at the discovery phase. So I mean, these are just the initial claims, right?
The only things we as backers need to worry about is the remote, and I say remote possibility of Crytek getting either a temporary restraining order or a preliminary injunction to have CIG stop developing the game. That's the only thing we need to worry about.
That would never happen because in the pleadings, Amazon would be standing right next to CIG in court, going, "No, they're using ours. We paid Crytek, and blah blah blah."
Not to mention,
and the judge would go, "Crytek, is this true?" And they'll be like, "Well, yes." Well, then no, denied.
Yeah, it's also how
it's really
severely it
remote.
impacts the people associated with the companies too, because judges think about that stuff, how it impacts families and everything else, and it's like, does it do more damage? What does the gain in it? If you're stopping development on something on an injunction, does that help solidify Crytek's intelligent properties? No, because they've already resold it to other companies. So I don't think an injunction would even make sense to anybody, because it's like, oh, we're going to protect your properties by stopping development on Star Citizen, but you already sold all the crap to Amazon. So it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like, an injunction wouldn't save the Crytek anything.
At some point, and I don't remember when exactly it was, they took everything they had in Crytek and transferred it to Lumberyard.
Yeah.
So they're not using Crytek anymore. They're using Lumberyard.
Yeah.
Which is a totally different engine. So
no. It's the same engine, but it's owned by the
Amazon.
same engine, but rebranded.
And it's at a certain build level. There was builds that came out after the branch of what Amazon acquired and whatever, but they were pointless builds that didn't do any good for Star Citizen or Lumberyard. So Amazon and Star Citizen didn't follow those successive builds. They stopped receiving builds at a certain point, and they're like, okay, we're done. We're not going to take more builds. And I'm sure that's probably where all the lawyers got involved, and they're like, okay, they're pulling away from us. We're doing this thing. And that's where everybody probably started taking notes on who did what. So...
Well, they were also supposedly, according to this filing here, CIG was supposed to give CryEngine the updates they were doing to their engine.
To help with bug fixes and stuff to the engine itself.
And it sounds like they didn't do that, according to the complaint.
Yeah.
Well, so we're only hearing one side right now.
Yeah. Well, of course.
And the thing is that if I were a betting man, I bet that they're not the bug fixes, they probably handed everything up until they branched.
Yep. Until they stopped taking builds from Crytek. I guarantee that's what
it'll
show.
And so it'll show they have not given any bug fixes that they did for this separate branch, but before they branched from Crytek, they gave them all. Right?
Sure
so they gave everything up to the point where they branched, they split. Yep. And so, I would say that if you go in there and you dig through it, you'll find, I'm pretty sure that they're safe because it's not like they were building on the same branch anyways. They weren't including any of the updates from Crytek in their build because they I think the reason why they branched is because they were doing something and then Crytek did an update and it broke everything that they were doing.
Yeah.
Right. So they were like, "Oh, we can't do this anymore."
Well, it was the same problem they had internally, right, with CIG when they had the offices not operating on this nice synchronization, where they were uploading the same builds to their main servers, and then the next company would work on it. Right now, they got a good synergy, a good flow between things. But it's the same thing Aaron complained about several months ago, where he said, okay, the UK office would do a build, upload it, then maybe the German office would forget to upload their latest build, and then LA would work on it, and then they'd have different builds and it would break stuff. They were probably going through the same exact experience previously with Crytek, because they would sit there and say, okay, we've updated a build. Crytek says, okay, here's our updated build, excluding some of their stuff, and it breaks stuff. And so they're like, it just didn't make sense anymore.
Didn't they also say that Crytek was not going to do the 64-bit conversion. They basically said, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, I think they
no
weren't.
reason for us to do that.
Yeah.
So basically, it was like, well, we're not the entire world play space changes when you have a 64-bit version, and Crytek wasn't even going to do that. So
Yeah.
it was like,
Well,
then
and the question remains, because within the original scope of their contract, what was the terms? Did Crytek say, hey, CIG, we're going to continue to help adapt our builds to what you're going to continue to change and change the scope of as we go? Or did they originally make a contract based around what CIG thought they needed in the beginning, and then CIG discovered, oh, we need more stuff, and Crytek was unwilling to fulfill those needs? I mean, we don't know those terms, and that's what it's going to boil down to.
I'm not really worried about that, because they don't think they would have made the decisions they did if they didn't, because like I said, they have both the lawyers that negotiated. They have the lawyer, Ortwin actually had negotiated contracts for Crytek before, for other companies before he was with CIG.
Yep.
And then the lawyer who was the employee who was working at Crytek, sitting across the table from Ortwin when they negotiated this contract, is now working for CIG.
But so are some of their engineers too, right? Like a lot of their engineers.
A lot of their engineers. I think part of it has to do with they're very ticked off that CIG hired probably most of their good engineers.
I've also heard though from inside sources that some of the engineers were hired at the request of Crytek, saying, hey, we have to downsize. And so it provided them with a home. So I think there was like more to that. I think some people, they originally said, hey, this would be great, where these guys are going to go over here. But then what happened was more and more the company kept coming over. And I think that's where it caused some problems for them. It's like, well
I
if
think those guys weren't getting paid.
Yeah, you don't get your paycheck. I mean, you're not going to go to work.
I'm out of here.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why they probably can't. I don't know. I forgot the name of it, where you could convince people to come over to your side. I forgot the name of that. But they can't really use that as ammo because you aren't paying your workers. So if they're not getting paid, obviously they're going to jump ship. I know.
It just depends that there was like a non-compete clause inside there. If it was a non-compete and they had a terms of no solicitation, that
non-competes do not work if you don't pay your employees.
Yeah.
They only work. They do not. A non-complete is null and void if you're like 6 months. I haven't got a paycheck. I'm going to go to another company. They can't enforce a non-compete.
That's true. The only time,
and that's why that's not inside the lawsuit right now, because they would have included that.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's where they would have had problems. But that means to me, in the contract they had with CIG, they never told CIG they couldn't like go after their employees, because I think that practice was sought out and pursued by Crytek. When Crytek worked with Evergeddon developers, they have a notorious reputation back in the day of their heyday of taking employees from other companies to bring them to Crytek. So I think Crytek thought this would work the other way around, and it ended up going the other way, and that's why it caused some problems. But again, just theory crafting here. We can't really say what exactly happened behind closed doors or any of that.
Well, you have to think, if you're working at Crytek, you see your buddies going there over to the competition, sort of, I guess you could call it. You see them over there having fun, actually pushing the boundaries of this engine, doing fun stuff. Not no Xbox One generic ass slasher that was that Rise of Rome or whatever that game was for Xbox One.
They're not
it
just
looked beautiful, but it was
skins.
nothing major.
Yeah.
Tell us how you really feel, Gio.
They're not throwing skins on an existing engine and just calling it a new game.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Ark, like Citadel Fire, you name it. They're all using the same engine, just throwing some
Far
skins
Cry
on
17.
it and calling it a new game. Yeah.
freaking lazy. And then you see these guys, what they're doing at CIG. There's guys in the industry that want to do stuff like this, the procedural planets, the amazing graphics, the damaged ship states. But most of these publishers cannot throw money at that type of games. And the 64-bit, and then you got stockholders. Oh, we want to do this. You can't tell stockholders you want to do all this extra features and crap. Hey, when y'all releasing this, you guys are late. You can't explain that. So, of course, we want to jump and do the open development because it looks pretty fun in the community and all that great stuff.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing. I think Crytek's going to try to argue, well, CIG kept changing the scope of the project. So, therefore, if they say we didn't deliver on our end, then it's going to be because CIG kept changing the scope and what they originally agreed to. was we supported and we did fulfill that. Mostly this might not even make a full court thing. This could just end up being some sort of out of court settlement. But then I hear a lot from the community saying, well, I didn't spend my money with CIG so they could have a legal battle. Well, you know what? They didn't choose to have a legal battle. They didn't choose to have to involve lawyers. That's just part of business. This stuff happens all the time.
They have a legal team regardless that's getting paid. Ortwin is a full-time employee.
Yeah.
And he does that type of work for a reason. And Toast. So
you're paying them either way. At least they're working on some stuff besides telling us what we can't stream.
Every game has some type of legal team. Indie, AAA, you have to have something because that knowledge that you have, I don't know if you guys seen that video, like you said, they're not looking to take this to federal court. That guy's a lawyer. This was like, they used the pettiest stuff to get the ball rolling. So, okay, say if I got into a car accident, it's like, okay, that guy hit me and my back hurts. And that's just the first part of the suing. The second part is going to court and filling out, okay, how did he hit you? From the rear end, and I got sideswiped, and I got a little, tail whip and blah, blah, blah. The only thing they explained originally is that they had the bug smashers and they had the code there so far. That and then the face tech people.
Depending what they shared with other companies. Those are the only things I can see.
They just want to settle.
Yeah,
they want a piece of the pie.
That's exactly what they want to do.
Yeah, they're saying that like we're over 170 million. They're like, we want a little of that action because they might have merit. We don't know what they shared with Faceware on some of those arguments. Some of those arguments might be things, but it looks like they're throwing so many arguments at the wall. They're just seeing what sticks to me.
But here's the thing: a lot of people keep overlooking this big. I mean, you don't overlook it, but when you're talking about, well, maybe they have merit. They all of like Bug Smashers and the Faceware all started after the switch to Lumberyard. So what were we looking at? Well, yeah, it does say CryEngine error, CryEngine this, but that's because Amazon bought that lock, stock, and barrel with the rights to redistribute any way they want.
And remember, with the 2.6.3 build, they are using CryEngine. So it's the switch after that. This 3.0.
No, they're using Amazon. No, they changed it to Lumberyard. It took them all of what was it? Couple hours.
But see, they used to have the CryEngine logo on stuff, and
that was like 2 years ago, almost.
It's been 2 years ago.
Yeah. That was at the
might
beginning.
Have been 2 years. But
yeah, it was 2 years ago. The beginning of 2016 is when they switched.
But they were using it all the time up until the point
they had
they
to.
changed.
Per this argument, like thing, it says it was part of their contract with them that they were supposed to use Crytek logos, and at some point they made the decision to pull them down because they weren't using their assets anymore.
That's fine. 2.6 was the switch from 2.5 was a CryEngine. Okay.
Yeah,
well, this is another thing. Amazon, the video I linked earlier, the guy was talking about, Amazon may have to get in and defend CIG. They might have to come in and help. And that's when Crytek's really going to get fucked because Amazon has the money to fucking throw at lawyers to take you out. Trust me, they got a lot more money than, Crytek, fucking dying company that doesn't know how to manage their money or take care of their workers. So, that's going to be another problem. I mean, the dude says a possibility, the lawyer in that video. I don't know how for sure, but I'm pretty sure Amazon is going to, if they're using that engine and Star Citizen is kicking ass on crowdfunding, you're going to want to protect that game because I don't know what their deal they have with the servers and the Lumberyard and stuff like that, but you're going to want to protect them at all costs.
Oh, yeah. No, Amazon totally wants to protect their investment. This is the crown jewel in the game development companies that are using Lumberyard, and they want this to succeed, and they're going to make it succeed. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of stuff that people are overlooking here. And
Bob
Crytek.
Bob brought up a great point. He said the move to Lumberyard might also have been a defensive move because maybe because lawsuits don't happen overnight. This is something they've probably been negotiating, discussing for a while now. So maybe this move to Lumberyard and the support of Amazon and Intel and all this stuff, they're getting their ducks in a row because they knew Crytek was going to pull this anyway.
Right.
This could have been a year or two in the making. We didn't know. I mean, really. Yeah. So they might have been like, hey, we're going to go ahead. We're going to make sure they understand at this point in time, we already made this switch to Lumberyard. We already did this stuff to here. We already have done this. So they've gone back and insulated themselves already. So, I mean, we don't have CIG doesn't have stupid lawyers. They're gonna be going through making sure everything's done correctly and going through fine-tooth comb and all that stuff. So It's not like this is the first time a lawsuit or anything's happened within the company, around the company, or somebody's tried to threaten something.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically just, this is crying tech, salty about losing some of the top engineers, not managing their money, and this is like they're on their last stand right now. I mean, they really have no other choice, and because right now Amazon and Star Citizen are just taking up almost all their workers, and once they finally go belly up, I mean, it's going to be complete dominance with Amazon and Star Citizen.
Well, if you think
Star
about
Citizen has the money to keep hiring their people.
With Star Citizen, and then between Amazon Lumberyard, and now with Lumberyard having a basis on what was the original Crytek engine, there's now a huge boom in demand for former Crytek engineers. So even without considering Star Citizen, right, any game that wants to develop on that, they would be smart to try to solicit engineers that are talented, especially ones that haven't been treated very well by the original company. So Crytek's just bleeding from all ends. I mean, there's nothing left there. I mean, they've sold off their last of their main core assets, is what it is.
And just think of this too. All these awesome new things they're putting in the Star Citizen, they can license out to other gaming companies to use.
They're using the same engine, yeah.
Volumetric fog. I mean, all this other stuff. They can license to other game makers. So of course Crytek wants a piece of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And they could pay for their game just off licensing this tech to other companies.
Yeah,
but buying the 170 million easy right there. License that.
If you want to point to another thing that shows how they're kind of Crytek's mindset right now, where they're cash grabbing, right? At beginning of this month, there was an article also over on, I think it was VentureBeat or something like that. Crytek just recently licensed their own cryptocurrency. So they're even trying to get into like their own cryptocurrency. That's what I'm saying. It's like, hey, anything we can do. We're just trying to grab the money.
Why the fuck is a game company doing cryptocurrency?
Because they're just trying to get it. They're grabbing some money. I mean, let's be honest.
Who would invest in that at this point? I know you got to be crazy to invest in some failing motherfuckers like that.
So I'm just saying it's all there. There's also been rumor that there's been a large amount of investment firms and stuff like over the last 12 to 24 months that got involved with Crytek, and so it's like the same thing where companies kind of buy each other and then part it all out. They sell it for everything it's worth, and then go from there.
Here's kind of what I thought when I first saw this. The first thing that came to mind was, so Crytek is now the new SCO. You know what SCO is?
No, I don't know.
You never heard of that? So SCO was a company that went and they bought an old Unix from IBM. And they bought the whole, they bought Unix, this Unix build or this, from IBM. And then they went and looked through all the code and they found code that was similar code that was being used in Linux. And then they sued every company that was using Linux basically as a shakedown. It was just basically a high-tech shakedown. And a lot of people were running scared. It was people were looking at like they were gonna kill Linux, and this was back in the late '90s when Linux was just getting its start being put into these large server farms, and these and HP was using it, and IBM was using it, and all these big companies out there. Amazon was using Linux servers, and so this was something that was really troubling for a lot of people because Linux was so easy to use, such a open source and all this other stuff, and SCO was like basically trying to put the kibosh on all of it. And Sun, they bought it. Did they buy it from Sun? Anyway, so IBM did get involved in that. And eventually, I think Sun and IBM and other companies all got involved and basically just eventually crushed SCO. But when I heard about this Crytek lawsuit, I was like, oh, crap! They've just become another SCO. They no longer have any value in the actual technology. Now all they can do is just try to shake people down.
Yep.
So
how much did Amazon? I hear that they bought something from Crytek engine or stocks in it. Like I don't know how much they bought. I've been curious on.
I don't know about the stock. There might have been something in the contract where they bought a share of it and kind of whatnot. But overall, they don't have an ownership share of Crytek, or else there would be a lawsuit to CIG.
Yeah.
Well, I know they paid
just
70 million, so it had to be something big.
I think they bought the licensing rights in order to get that build of the Crytek engine in order to build Lumberyard.
So did Star Citizen pay that much?
No.
Amazon did.
Amazon
Well,
did.
I'm wondering if they paid 70 million, how much did Star Citizen pay?
Well, Star Citizen, I think this is part of the terms of their complaint, is because like they're saying they would have had Crytek branding. I think they gave them a typical game developer contract with the engine saying you're going to develop Honor
They
engine.
promised to use it.
Yeah, and they promised to use
That's
it. That
the
way it
thing.
would help market, much like what we're doing for Amazon
don't-
now. We would market CryEngine as that, but CryEngine
Yeah.
couldn't fulfill the need. So
The problem is that whether or not there were any promises in there, the only promises that are currently on display are just you owe us this, you owe us this.
yeah,
Well, and when
he said,
CIG
she
comes
said
back,
from our point.
yeah, well, but except all we have right now is she said,
Yeah.
and the he said is coming soon. But here's the thing: when CIG comes back, I think people will be shocked when they say, "Well, see, Crytek, you said you would do this, but you didn't,
Yeah.
and you refused."
Yep.
So I can't wait till
And,
they prove that 75,000 too. They have to prove.
Well, no.
You got to show the receipts for that.
No, you don't.
No. 70. You guys are
That's just-
misinterpreting that
75,000 is the only thing
He said
that
it's-
is for.
Go ahead, Uber.
That's just a threshold for
Yeah.
filing in federal court.
Yeah.
One is that the owner of Crytek is not an American citizen; he's a German. So that's one reason that will give them the right to file in, because otherwise they'd have to file in state court.
Yep.
And then it has to be for an amount over 75,000, which they can easily prove. And that's all it is. It doesn't mean that they're looking for 75,000.
Yeah.
Not at all.
No, they could
So-
they could be looking for more than that.
Oh no,
No.
I guarantee you.
They're
they are.
looking for way more than that.
Yeah, way more.
They have to have a minimum.
That's
of
just
75.
so basically they
Yeah.
just start the complaint with the minimum. That way they could get to
Yes.
the court that they want to.
They
and
even
file.
said in there, it's
Yeah.
much more than 75,000.
Yep.
So
Right.
Absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
if that was the case, they probably would have settled.
And like
So
some of the
quicker
guys
than
in
that.
chat are getting involved. Like SpaceBro said, they paid paid $1 million. Digital Design is saying that CIG paid for the rights to the engine outright at some point, not just a license. Supposedly, this is what we're
all
going
contract.
off. Again, we don't know the contract. We know what we've been told by various parties, but we don't. It's all semantics. It's like we don't have the contract, and we're not going to see the contract.
it doesn't matter anyways, because all lawyering is one lawyer proving a point better than another lawyer. It's all subjective.
Yep.
So even if they have an ironclad contract and they got, a good lawyer on our side, we could still win. You know what
Yep.
I mean? People get out of contracts all the time.
But they also get hosed in contracts that they weren't agreed to all the time too. So it could go either way depending on what happens.
It can.
It's just the merits of the case.
But with Amazon backing them, Microsoft backing them, CIG is not going to lose this.
No.
Fuck no. Like I said, I really think Amazon's gonna come in and just fucking thrash.
I
these
guarantee
dudes,
what
man.
happened was there was some settlement conversation in the background. Crytek said, "Hey, we will file a formal lawsuit if you don't meet these terms." And CIG at some point told them, "Go ahead." And that's what
It's
it
all
boils down
bean
to.
counter.
Yeah, it's just
We'll fight you out in court over the course of,
Yeah.
so many years.
Especially
you this
with the
amount.
timing of the lawsuit, they're trying to just because they know there's some publicity surrounding Star Citizen, and they're like, "This will damage you guys a lot if we do this, and you should just pay us." And CIG's probably like, "Yeah, you can go ahead and do that. It doesn't matter." So I wouldn't worry about it personally. It'll be one of those things being an entertaining shit show to watch on the side.
Guys, I'm gonna link again. This video is the lawyer. He talks about this stuff. He knows a lot more than us. Highly recommend watching that to see what goes on with this case. I got educated a little bit watching that. So,
Yeah. But again, even attorneys, unless they've seen the contract, between the two parties, we have no idea about what was promised, what wasn't promised. I mean, it's right now, again, it's just one party saying what the other person should have done, but that doesn't mean
right.
crap.
But you got to remember this too, though. Contract disputes are a dime a dozen.
Yep.
The one thing that people were very worried about at first was the whole copyright thing.
Yep.
But considering that everything, all the code being used in,
it's gonna be really hard to prove anything negative.
You
on
can
that.
no
That's
look.
not-
Copyright infringement cannot be proven because they're using Amazon Lumberyard, and they've got full permission.
And not only that, but because Lumberyard, after they've sold that part to Amazon, is now it's open. Anybody can use Lumberyard. It's not even something you pay for as a company.
Yeah.
So they would have to prove that it did harmful damage to their company. And I'm like, well, if it did harmful damage, you just sold that to this other company.
Well, so by them putting this into a lawsuit, they have opened themselves up for a lawsuit from Amazon against Crytek.
Yeah.
Because the Amazon's like, wait a minute, our contract says that we have the right to distribute this as we see fit.
Yep.
We paid you $70 million so we could do that. Are you saying that you're now violating this contract that you signed with us for the $70 million? I mean, basically, Crytek doesn't even know what they got themselves.
Well, and the other problem is what new game company that doesn't have a lot of capital is going to want to use the CryEngine now? It's like, so you sue the companies that pay you money to use your engine.
Sue Indie, yeah.
I don't
Indie
think
at that.
I don't think a lot of people would be like, Crytek's top my list to use now. Again, it's poor decision making on Crytek's part, in my opinion.
And then Star Citizen could come back and countersue.
They will.
Hey, you guys ruined our brand name. A lot of bullshit press because no one wants to cover procedural cities, but cover the drama bullshit like this. They always do that. So they could come back and say, hey, they fucked up.
I guarantee they're writing a counterclaim right now. I guarantee.
I hope those motherfuckers do and bury them sons of bitches.
That's what usually happens is that both parties have claims, and then if anything, they either settle out of court or they dismiss both sides because then the one party that originally filed goes, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have done that, because it's just one of those things that happens. We'll just see. We'll see how it pans out.
It's definitely going to be interesting.
It doesn't matter anyways, as long as CIG can keep working on the engine. That's all that matters.
Yep. So barring an injunction,
which they can because Lumberyard.
Well, that too, but also like what Toy was talking about before you got here, Gio. It's like the only thing that negatively could possibly happen on a far distant whim would be if a judge granted an injunction saying that Star Citizen, you need to stop work on the project.
Temporary restraining order.
Temporary restraining order saying you freeze working on this project while we resolve this, because that would mean that would be a nail in the coffin.
That would be
for the
no
project.
money coming in.
Yeah, because they couldn't accept it.
Concept ship sales still.
Well, under contract, I mean, in contract disputes, that has almost never happened.
Yeah,
no,
and that's
it won't happen.
It won't happen. I'm sure that it could be something shot in the dark. They try, but it wouldn't work.
Well, of course they're going to try. I mean, everybody tries.
See, if they do that, I do believe, like I said, I believe that Amazon would step in and say, hey, wait a minute. Our contract with you, when we paid this $70 million, says we can distribute as we see fit. Well, part of that is distributing to CIG. So you're violating your contract to Amazon. You don't want to violate your contract.
Yeah,
with
because
Amazon.
that's the thing. Because now they're on our engine, and now you're telling one of our clients they can't use our engine.
Well, I'm sure that's what'll come up when CIG goes to fight the temporary restraining order. They're going to say, hey, we have a contract with Amazon who says we can use this, and here's their contract that says they can use it for anything. So
yep. And if Crytek comes back and says, well, we already had a contract with them, it's like, well, you're the dummies that sold Amazon your engine. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you guys caused your own thing. And when like somebody stole the concept of the engine and then sold it to CIG.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I think Amazon, Chris showed Amazon some shit in this game that shit we haven't even seen before, and it probably blew Amazon away. And they know that this game is going to be the big shit. That's why they're backing it so heavy. Intel's coming in, AMD. Pretty soon, NVIDIA's going to hop in and get some of this because this game is going to be revolutionary. And a lot of these businesses are seeing this. I know it got the trolls. Oh, it's scam. But you got these companies that are smart and business people that know it's going to be big bucks.
Well, and to be fair, Amazon doesn't need a completed game. They just had to have provable tech demo, right?
That's what I've been saying.
Yeah,
they're going to license this tech out to everybody.
That's what I'm saying. They needed provable tech to show how good the Lumberyard runs, and Star Citizen's perfect for that because, if anything, they deliver tech, right? They deliver great tech that shows, hey, this works. It might not be the completed game, but it's definitely, look at what's running on our engine. Look at what they're capable of doing, and you don't see that in any other video game. So
yeah, SC could go belly up, but the tech is there.
Yep.
So that's why Amazon's good either way because
they're
well, y'all went belly
like,
up, but guess what? We got all your fucking tech where other devs could finish this off if you guys go belly up, so we don't care.
Yeah, I think CIG's insulated themselves pretty well at this point.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, let's move on to the week stuff. We pounded through the Crytek debacle. We armchair quarterback that. We'll have to build little leather like armchairs for us for the next time we talk about that. And we'll go through a Lego. We'll do the Lego knees section of the SpaceBro show each time. It's like, all right, who's got the chair? But so this week in ATV, much less in the builds. We'll get back into the builds and studios here a little bit. But on ATV, we had the burn down, which the burn down's still relevant because they're still working through the major amount of issues that they have until they go live, which I think, honestly, this week helped me with chat a lot because a lot of people come in, new people come in, and they're like, hey, so is it going to go live by the holidays? I'm like, no, they're still citing over 176 issues before they're comfortable going live. It's not going to happen holidays. They'll be post after the 1st. That's the way it'll go. But beyond that, the great thing I saw was I actually enjoyed a lot of the atmospheric flight conversation where they really kind of dove into it, talked about what they have done and the path of which way they're planning on things going. So what were your guys' takeaway and experience on the atmospheric flight section of ATV? Have you seen these things inside the game? Have you seen things or heard about things from what they explained that you haven't actually experienced in the game yet? So we'll start with Toy this time.
I loved it. I mean, it's a continuation of the Gravlev stuff from last week because everything they talked about last week applies to the ships too, the flying ships. So I love it. I mean, the only thing that bothered me was the fact that, like I was talking earlier about it, they have the version now that they're putting out with 3.0, but they're replacing it as soon as 3.0 is out, as far as atmospherics go. It's good. It's just, it's another one of those, now we got to wait for the next version of it.
Yeah, but we already knew there was, like you said earlier too, and Uber was alluding to, we already knew there was going to be another version of atmospherics coming because it's another section because of weather, because all the other stuff that, again, this is just first version. So,
and I understand that, but he's replacing the whole thing instead of just adding on to the existing.
I think when they say that, we'll have to dive in a little bit what that means to them. Because sometimes they say replace the whole thing means we have all new metrics and all new stuff. But I believe the base of what they want to use is there, but they didn't have half the crap on from what they said in the ATV. They didn't have all this other stuff there. So it is totally different than what we have right now in a game of numbers and dynamics and stuff. But I don't even think the build they want to put in immediately is the last build. I don't even think that has the dynamic weather systems in the next build they want to put in inside 3.0. So I think there's still more to come. I wouldn't like to put a pin in it there. So, Uber, how about you, buddy? What do you think about the atmospherics and from the ATV and what your experience in the game has been up to this point with that?
So I like the atmospherics. I like the dust storms. I like the wind. The way they work with decals going across make it look like the snow is going across the surface of yellow, or how the dust and the mist and the fog works on Daymar. So that I like. I like the buffeting of the wind, although they do have to. They have. I can tell they've been tweaking with it because at one point, flying to Daymar in your Aurora was once you got into Damar's atmosphere, it was impossible to control the Aurora. It was like, oh my god, oh, not good. So I mean, I like the direction they're going with it.
Yeah.
I just I'm gonna wait and see what they're doing more with it.
Mhm.
For the Gravlev, like what Toy was talking about, not a huge fan of the Gravlev. In fact, I don't think that it should. I wish they would make it so they don't fly, because they're not. I mean, in space, I get it, right? They can fly around in space because they have thrusters, right? But shouldn't gravity? I mean, the thruster should not be anywhere near strong enough to be able to get them to fly, 1,000 feet in the air. That's just ridiculous. So I wish they wouldn't do that. I wish they would stop that and stop the Nox and the Dragonfly from being able to fly like a spaceship in the way.
But I love the way they made it work, because you're on the ground and then you could press your space bar to go up, but you lock at a certain height for a few minutes before you break out of that and go into flight mode. I love the way that worked.
Yeah, I hate that. I wish they would take it out.
I'm with Uber Nerd. I don't like the fact that they actually fly. I like the space bar stuff. I like being able to navigate over big rocks, especially with different terrain. Yeah. And I'm good with that up to maybe, say, like 30, 40 feet.
Yeah, me too.
When you get up to 1,000 feet and break into Atmo, like flight stuff, I don't like that. But it's personal preference.
Problem, though. When you bring spaceships in, these people are going to be dropping these bikes and stuff off of ships before they get down to the surface. They need to be a way to fly down, because if you take those off...
But why would you have a significant advantage like that over, like, say, like an Ursa rover? Because it's going to drop like a rock.
Yeah, and
so
as soon
why
as an
shouldn't
Ursa
the bikes
rover
be like
drops,
that?
It's going to smash.
Yeah, and why shouldn't a bike do that?
Because you can fly in space with these
But
things.
you can float in space in an Ursa rover.
Yep.
As long as you aren't pulled into gravity, you could float in space. And the fact that they have Gravlev on them, you would get minor thrust and stuff in space with the bike, and you should. But once you're in higher gravity, you shouldn't be able to propel, because you're propelling the Gravlev tech against something, right? You're propelling against something.
Well,
and the ground, the farther it gets away, I would think you'd fall.
They all have thrusters. If you look on the bikes when they're on, you can see their little thrusters firing. But they're little thrusters. That's why they can fly in space, because they have these thrusters that allow them to maneuver. But that's because there's no gravity in space. There's no air resistance in space. There's a lot of things that I think that they should never allow them to fly. I mean, who thought that was a good idea? In the development team, not you, Toy. I'm not saying. Yeah. But I'm saying in the development team, who thought that was a good idea? Because we have spaceships that are not. We have spaceships that are like aircraft. The Merlin doesn't have quantum drive.
Yep.
It is supposed to fly. It is supposed to be your little parasite craft that you can fly like an airplane.
Yeah.
Not a dragonfly or a. That's ridiculous. I just think that those are speeder bikes that are for the surface, going really fast over the surface. Yeah, you should be able to get over some obstacles on the surface, but not fly 1,000 feet. 30 feet, sure. 1,000 feet, no way.
Yeah.
I just think that's wrong.
And it really defeats the purpose of some of the land vehicles too, because you just fly over everything.
Yep. Well, no, okay. To be fair, the land vehicles like the Ursa rover have cargo space, where the Nox and the Dragonfly have zero, nada. So that is different, right?
For now.
But
if you're just riding around exploring, you're going to take the space bike every time almost.
It depends.
Yeah, why would you want to have a?
You can't map in a space bike. So when they get some of your functionalities in, I could see why you would choose like a Cyclone or some of the other stuff to map things or purposeful stuff. My big problem is the Dragonfly will still be the ultimate scouting vehicle. If you can fly 1,000 feet in the air and it's about this freaking big, and you can go over and look at everything, why would you not scout in anything else but that? Unless you need to map, unless you need to do some sort of scanning. If I'm going to go attack somebody, I'll send them at night on a Dragonfly with the lights out at 1,000 feet, and I'll see everything you have in your base lit up. And here's another thing that's funny about the Dragonfly that I think is kind of silly still. I was able to dodge 3 missiles with it, like from a ship with the Dragonfly. I'm popping flares, driving around. I was just like in flight. I can see maybe the ground being able to dodge them, but in flight, I can dodge missiles on a dragonfly. It seemed a little overpowered to me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Adjustments to come, maybe. I was just like, it eventually got me, but it was like the fourth missile got me. I was like, I don't know.
So small.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things. But again, Gio, I don't know how much you've got to play this week. What do you think of the atmospherics? What do you think of the ATV? Do you like what it feels like, the transition between space flight and what we have Atmo right now? What are your thoughts?
To be honest, I haven't really watched the ATV, but I have experienced the atmospheric flight. I do like it. It's still a little long sometimes, but I think we're going to enjoy that in some of the multi-crew ships and getting ready to, prepare for landing. I think that's going to be, real cool. But I think some of the fighter ships just need to go a little faster than some of the, more the bigger ships.
To get an atmosphere and stuff?
Yeah, I would like that to be sped up a little more on the fighters, the single-seat fighters or smaller ships. Mm-hmm. Bigger ships, I can understand if they take a little longer to get in there. I do like that. Some ships, I just flop on the ground like the Aurora or the Prospector because you don't have those wings. But I think that may be a problem. It may be a problem though to like some of the people who get a starter ship because you're stuck with the Delta and that just makes the Mustang even more better than the Aurora because you just plop on the ground because it was flying okay in the demo they showed us with the procedural planets, but I think that was flying too good for the Aurora even for that one. So they need to find a good in between for ships like the Aurora that don't have wings to fly on the planet.
Well, I love the fact if you decide to come in full bore and you're in a brick, because I've done this in I've done this in every ship, let's be honest. I've hit the ground so many damn times now coming into planet side. That's ridiculous. But I think that's great because I think if you make the choice to go full afterburner to get in Atmos straight down in a ship that's not aerodynamic, you're going to have to pilot the thing. You can't just go automatic and just like, oh, I'm going to get there. It's like if you're not in the right ship, you can't come in that hot because you ain't going to be able to pull out of that, and you're going to be a crater on the ground. And I think
lawn dart.
Yeah, and I think that's great because let's be honest, it's not super hard to fly your ship in atmosphere. But if you make choices that are like, hey, I'm going to come balls deep in like that, I mean, you have to figure out how to get out of that. I mean, I figured out I have to like decouple, flip around, and I have to start boosting straight up out of that while I'm crashing down in a Connie as fast as I want to go. That way, when I get about 5K off the ground, I better start boosting back the other way, or I will be a lawn dart out there in the middle of the desert. So I don't like that because it's your choices. Because you're going to get the guys that come in nice and slower, that are smart about it, and you're going to get the guys that are like, no, watch this shit. I'm going to pilot straight down, flip it around, know how to pull out of this stuff, and just do some ninja stuff in a ship that shouldn't handle that way. And I love that. I think that's great. And that is exactly what I was looking for personally with the atmospheric flight, to see the difference when you come in a Gladius versus something like, a Connie. A Connie, you kind of got to be measured, come in more of a slope angle, be more modular about it. A Gladius, I can come straight down like I'm going to lawn dart this shit, and I can pull out of that pretty easily because you got wings. You're going to get a little bit like, but if you dust off right, you can get out of that. And I like that. I think that was the perfect balance of it. I don't think they need to go more severe with the atmospheric flight than that, because I think, again, you're going to make it such a... You don't want to make it such a hard skill that it's like people can't even get on the ground without just crashing and blowing up every 5 minutes. But you don't want to make it easy mode. You want to make it to where if you're not smart about it and you're coming straight at the ground, you're going to pay. But if you come in just halfway decent, you're recoverable. You'll be okay.
Now, I just want to know where all the people who said that the wings on ships was stupid, or where are they at? Because now it's real useful in atmospheric flight.
Well, to be fair,
why are there wings on the ship?
To be fair, a lot of people didn't like wings, but there wasn't no planets involved when a lot of people were bitching about, like, why do we need wings? I'm like, well, now you got planets, so now you have a reason for wings. So
I think they always intended to have planets. They just didn't realize they were going to be as full as they are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they always intended to have planets. We thought there would be a corridor down, and
or a cut, or not really a cut scene, but some sort of transition flight from there to space. What Chris said originally, you wouldn't control it, but it would just be that transition,
like a zoning from space to the planet.
It's so cool, man. Every time I do it, it's just I still amazed just watching it and panning the camera. Like, wow, this is so fucking cool
And I love
and beautiful.
I love the amount of time it takes too, because again, even though maybe speed up a little bit of fighter, but you don't want to go OP on that either. But I like that because it's like, all right, guys, I picture, piloting the Connie or piloting a transport ship. Hey guys, all right, we're about 2 minutes out from the LZ, and everybody's like, okay, they start standing up, they get their guns out,
Loading up.
yeah, loading up, getting ready to rock and getting ready to deploy, and then you could just basically come in and get those guys out of there really quick, and I love that. I think that's great, and plus it makes it
that'd be cool. That's what would be cool with the fighters getting there a little ahead of time, scouting the area, and then they're coming in like 2 minutes after.
Say we're all on the ground and we're in a ground combat, and we call in backup. Oh, they're 10 minutes out. We got to hold the line, guys, for 10 minutes till air support can get out here. And maybe the fighters come in and they're giving close air support, but your transport's slower. It's going to be out here. It's going to be there 5 minutes, so hopefully your fighters can help them hold off. I see epic ground battles happening for positions that'll just be amazing, You'll have, there was some great video, if you guys look on YouTube and on Reddit, where guys were doing strafing runs earlier. They had caterpillars on the ground, and they were doing just like the strafing runs while ground troops were shooting each other, and they were like blowing up stuff and just dusting off like you'd see in like actual regular military combat. And I was like, oh my god, this looks so cool with all the effects and everything. So I
can't wait till they have that kind of the faked aerodynamics, right?
Mhm.
Where when you tilt your craft up, right?
Yeah.
And you get that lift. They're going to give you lift in a Gladius, in a Saber, in these aerodynamic looking ships. They will get fake lift, not really, not real fluid dynamics.
They'll benefit from their airframes and what they're doing.
Right, exactly. So when you do tilt up, when you point your nose up, you'll go that way. So right now, it's very drifty. It's very, it's like you're flying in space.
Yeah.
But they're going to change it so that it feels like you're flying an aircraft.
Yeah.
And that's going to be fun.
Because it's really forgiving right now. And that's because you can still kind of do some of the fighter stuff that you do in space.
I'd say it's forgiving. The ground's a sponge at the moment.
You can't do all that little hovering and floating in GTA. Like, you got to go loop, maybe cut your thruster off and come back. Like, the way they have it in Grand Theft Auto, I do like. I don't want probably that much like that in Star Citizen, but it needs to be a little more harder and less forgiving than what it is right now.
I don't mind the hover, but I think when you're hovering, you should have less speed. If you know what I mean. Like when you go into hover, it slows you down a lot because you've made that choice to go there. You can't hover as much. Plus, I think if you choose to hover, it should burn and consume more of your fuel. If you're not going to, because that's the same limitation like our oxygen limits and all that stuff. If you're fighting some type of gravity, that would be the compromise I want. I don't care so much them changing more atmospherics. I kind of like it. But the consequence is, especially if I'm in a bigger ship, it's going to be a fuel consumption cost for me to just sit there and hover. So that way I can't camp you. I have to make the choice to go back out of the atmosphere or land. I'm not going to be able to sit there and just gun for like 15, 20 minutes and just totally wreck the ground the whole time, unless maybe I'm in a ship designed for that, like maybe, I don't know, Redeemer? They need to come up with ships that you can pivot mage thrusters, do different types of consumption like that, and I think that would be cool. It should cost fuel. Because
if people could just hover and wreck your face, ground forces have no chance.
Yeah.
Because you could just sit there and hover, look down, and shoot. Like, it's not like in a helicopter, you kind of got to, go forward and shoot like I do on Grand Theft Auto.
But bases are going to have shields.
Bases are going to have shields, and they're going to have point defense turrets on the ground as well and stuff. But that's why I think if you make a fuel cost, and if you slow down, the one thing, and the reason I say slow down on hover, what I mean is, right now, just like in space, I can pivot, and especially you joystick users out there, I can pivot at almost like 200 meters a second around a target like this and shoot it, right?
Just strafe
the whole time. I shouldn't be able to do that in like a hover scenario. Not in it doesn't matter if I'm aerodynamic or not. I just shouldn't be able to pivot that quick and do it. It should slow that down a little bit. If I make the decision to like boost back off, sure, just hit it and get it. But if I'm sitting there, because what I'm thinking is the air to ground suppressing target, unless I'm in a ship specialized for that, Like, like even the bikes. The bikes can hover all day. That's good. I think maybe bring in the new model of the Redeemer and have it be a ground support. It should be able to hover a little bit more, still at a fuel consumption loss. But, like, the trade-off is the Gladius and Saber can sit there and strafe and do some amazing things, but you sit them in hover, they're just burning a lot of fuel to sit there like that because they're not designed for that.
Well, wait until the what was the one the Hammerhead comes out. You let that thing just hover over you? R.I.P. man. If that doesn't have no cost to hover, you're gonna get fucking wrecked.
Yeah.
Is that thing going to be able to land?
All ships.
It doesn't need to. It could just float atmosphere.
No, it can land.
No, because there's a limit on range for these guns on all ships.
Yeah.
They're not going to let you sit in outer space and hit the ground on a.
No, you can't.
planet.
Well, what's stopping it from coming to atmosphere? Now, it may not be able to land on the planet because from the pictures I've seen, you can only dock it to a station. I don't know if it's going to change.
Well, they're going to let you land in Idris. We know that.
Idris. Yeah, at one point the Idris wasn't even supposed to land on planet. Now we've seen it on Nilly. We're like, whoa. So I'm guessing that thing could land too.
But
no, it can land. They've actually had a picture of it land.
But this is also a thing. I would say, huge amount of fuel consumption. The bigger the ship, the more fuel you burn to come in and out of atmo. It should be significant because the weight and size of the ship.
Didn't they talk about that? Are you going to have to shut off certain components to give that extra thrust to the engines?
They mentioned that on a power basis, but I want to see it be like if my flight plan, if I decide to deviate from my flight plan and I'm going to go on and off planets, I might only be able to hit 1 or 2 planets before I need to start thinking about how much I got to refuel, all this stuff. I don't want to have capitals just camping planets all day. Orbital is fine with certain ships because, but it's like it's still going to take sometimes even several minutes to recharge an orbital blast. It's not like you're going to be able to pepper the ground from space all the time. You're going to get like single shots.
I want those to even take longer coming atmosphere, to be honest. The Idris, I wanted it to take like 10 minutes for that thing to, or how long is it now? Get atmosphere.
We have no idea. If
it was a guess, maybe it's 10 minutes now, so maybe it should be 20 minutes or 15, 20 minutes for that to come in atmosphere. I don't know.
And with that much mass, it should drop like a rock. You should be spending all your time just trying to keep it thrusting from dropping down and becoming a big
you're not
crater.
going to strafe in an Idris. It's a slow hovering vehicle. So if you come in Atmo and there are ground cannons and stuff, you're going to take all of it. Now you can take a lot because you're an Idris, but you're going to take all that. And that's the way that's to go.
There needs to be punishment with that big son of a bitch.
So
and like I said, all your power is going to be going to powering those thrusters. Your shields might be down, your guns might be down because it's diverting all that power just to keep you flying.
And the other reason they have to make it so consequential for actually having large ships land and how much it consumes and how much it costs the ship is because that's what's going to make people use the snubs. That's what's going to make people use landing vehicles. Because if I can just land my Idris all day, why would I ever use an Argo? Why would I ever?
I'm just gonna hover with my railgun and blow up all the bases. Because if that thing just hovers on nilly willy like we got now, R.I.P. to all the ground units.
I'll tell you right now, I almost promise you, if they do it the way they're looking at the power ratios, if you fire a railgun in Atmo, your ship's crashing to the ground. There's no way it can support itself because it's got to recharge.
They say over and over again, the cost to fly the big ships is going to be huge.
Yep.
It's not going to be cheap to fly anything bigger than a Connie.
Here's the thing. I was talking with my my viewers during a stream once, and they were all like, "Oh, these guys got these big ships, and they're gathering their UEC right now. They're buying this up so that when they
the
start
dumbest
the game,
move you can do, buying UEC.
Well, when they start the game, they'll all have their Idrises and their Javelins flight ready day 1 or 2. And I said, and then a week later, you'll see no Javelins or Idris because everybody will have run out of money
or blown them up, and they're waiting a month for it to come back online.
Doesn't matter. Ooh. They won't. First of all, they won't get jobs, right? Yep. You can't get. It's all your jobs are all based on reputation.
Yep.
If you want to fly an Idris and get paid for a job to fly in it, basically when you get a job, you're going to get a job that you would be expected to do in an Aurora or a Mustang or one of the other bases
to start
when
with,
you start
for
the
sure.
game, right? And so, are you going to go do a job in an Idris? First of all, you probably will fail the job because you won't be able to find the marker. Your ship will be so big that the people you're supposed to meet will run in fear. I mean, there'll be all kinds of things. It'll just be So anybody flying an Idris or a Javelin, they are going to fail all their missions. Their reputation is going to take a hit, not go up.
Yeah.
And so eventually, give it a couple weeks of the launch of the game, and all of these player run ships will disappear from sight for a couple months until people build the reputation and actually do it the real way.
Yeah, the only reason to bring out a big cap like that in the beginning of the game is to fight another big cap. To be honest, I would see tactically no reason to do it unless unless your fans gave you a bunch of money to like, hey, go troll and blow this thing up, with your Idris. I mean, there's no real reason to do it.
Well, what I would use it for is I would get it out, get it to where I want to start, and use it as command base.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Park it, leave it, shut it off in the middle of space somewhere, and that's where you guys are kind of all meet up.
Yep.
As you're doing your quest. That's it. That's the only thing I'd use it
Especially
for.
it'd be a great mobile command center if you're doing quests from area to area. But my thought was the same thing, only bring out also an Endeavor or something. And you just leave them out there. You got good peripheral scans. All your guys can respawn. They can go back out to the missions and all that. And you have a support mobile little, your own floating space cloud city.
That's why I never understood, people who yell pay to win. They don't take into account how much the ship costs to run. And then they just think people with javelins and Idrises are just going to troll people in fucking Auroras all day. Like, oh, yeah, I bought this big ship to troll Auroras all day.
You would be lucky to hit an Aurora, to be perfectly honest. There's some of these ships.
So many sci-fi movies, have you guys actually seen? They're so small, they're hard to hit, so they have to send their fighters to go take them down because those big ass cannons can't even keep up with the small ships.
90% of the verse are going to be NPCs.
Yep.
That's a completely different ratio to Eve, which is where everybody is basing their whole argument for pay to win on. Is yes, if this was Eve, where basically other than it's basically players. No, I mean there are NPCs, but they're inconsequential.
They added in the recent last 4 to 5 years, they added a lot of NPC incursions and stuff, and that's why I don't think people get. In Eve, the people in high sec that don't want to go fight and don't want to do that stuff, they take their most expensive ships to go do PvE together against incursions. And that's an aspect a lot of people forget in this. If you have an Idris early on, or you have one of those, I would be taking it out to go fight the Vandul. Or fight one of those, because I guarantee you'll get money and rewards and rep and stuff like that. That's where the big expensive ships will be. Because what do they gain by killing the Aurora? I'm not going to spend all my fuel chasing Aurora around with an Idris. I'm going to go out and fight Vandul and do some PvE stuff and fight NPCs. Maybe there's a pirate incursion over in the low-sec area, and I'll get my org and go do that. Even though we're mercs, until we got a job, I want to go, do that type of stuff with big ships.
Right.
I think people are so worried about getting griefed in this game, which they've insulated everybody so much with. You get your ship back, you got extra insurance you could buy. There's so many preventive measures. I don't think you're going to see nearly as many people griefing as what's going to happen is people are going to go out and die to NPCs is what's going to happen. You're going to die probably more to NPCs if you're a non-combat pilot than you will ever die to players. I almost promise you that.
Look at the M50. Look how annoying that ship is to hit.
90% of people are NPC. If you go out to risky areas, it's a lot more likely you're going to run into some NPCs that you can't handle than some random player you can't handle.
Okay, this week has been really awesome. And the reason why is there are no more names on any of the players. I can't if I get into just standard civilian garb and just walk nonchalantly through the other NPCs on Olisar, you can't tell that I'm not an NPC. Right?
That is good.
So they've taken all the ability to identify player or NPC. If you're bunny hopping around, of course, people will know immediately player, right? But you can easily hide among the NPCs because there's no name over your head.
Yeah,
well, that's gonna be dope for bounty hunting.
Well, I like that.
I like that.
That is what
I would like some identifiers when you're in a group. If I'm in a squad and we're tacked up, I would like some identifiers in a group because,
especially since there's friendly fire.
well, especially because modern day military, we have friendly identifiers on our people for the last 2 decades. So I would hope that they would put some friendly identifiers because I'm tired of getting shot by my own people. Damn it.
Well, that's why they have so many different types of clothes, so many different colored undersuits, so many different type of spacesuits. If you guys choose all the same thing and say, okay, everybody who's using the heavy marine armor with the heavy, like something like that, right? So you guys though have to make those. It forces you, not the game. No, it forces you guys to go. Okay, we have to wear certain identifiers. So everybody wear the orange arms or something.
We're gonna have to be pink dyed suits like Toy was trying to make everybody in Conan.
Hello Kitties.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I agree, Toy. Let's do that. We'll troll everybody with Hello Kitty.
Well,
there's going to be groups doing that.
Well, in Astropub, where he talks about his mercenaries, where he wants everybody wearing hot pink and driving Hello Kitty, and they'll be the most feared mercenary group in the entire universe, where people will run, and they all have to have names like Captain Cuddles and stuff like that. So that way people go, look out, it's Captain Cuddles coming. You know, they want to. That's his dream. So.
Meowcenaries.
Yep,
nice.
The Mousenaries. It's the Mousenaries. It's amazing.
I'm still salty I didn't get one of those. I think I was like one referral away.
From what?
For getting that fucking Hello Kitty, whatever the fuck, Dragonfly.
Dragonfly?
Yeah, I got one. Oh, man. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about all that. But, again, Atmospheric Flight was cool. This week it was a week off for the Friday special. We didn't have anything on Friday. I think we're not going to see that. I don't think next week either because they're out after the ATV
Thursday's
holiday
the last
stuff.
day.
So,
Dude,
and then IGN is getting the exclusive Mark Hamill interview, which they don't fucking deserve.
who is?
One more week
IGN
until we see Squadron 42
on the 20th. I think that's on the Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's,
so they get that.
So yeah, Friday is their last day of for that, but it is and it isn't. I guarantee you, there's a huge contingent of people at CIG in every office that will continue to work through the holiday.
Yep.
Nobody's going to get it all off, especially the network guys. They can't.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, if you talk to people like Underscore, I talked to him about a week and a half ago when he was playing with us with Jay Lee and whatnot, and he said that he made the comment that, like, you know, he had to remote in and was helping some of your network guys at 2:00 in the morning with some build stuff, trying to, you know, shoot stuff. So these guys, even from home, they're having to come online and do stuff because, I mean, it's all their livelihood too. You know, Not only that, they don't have to do it; they want to do it because they play the game.
Yep.
You know,
they're not stopping until 3.0 gets out.
Yeah.
To everybody.
Yeah.
These guys aren't slowing down.
Well, yeah, that, and then my prediction is they're going to release PTU to everyone during the live stream in CIG fashion. All right, guys, PTU for everyone.
Yep.
Some shit is going to break because it's going to be massive. There's still a lot of people who have not got access to PTU. There's going to be some shit breaking over that day.
But I think it's the right move. I think it's time to open the PTU wide, let them break stuff, you know, a little bit. But it's pretty solid. So, I mean, if anything, you're going to have the login servers what's going to get hammered. That's going to be the issue. Login server get hammered with some extra people coming in. Everybody's off for the holidays, so if they're not going on a trip or doing family things, they'll be in the game trying to hammer it and do that sort of stuff. But, I mean, that's the right move because then they still make people get involved with the game over the holiday when they have time to get involved with it, and then they aren't pushing out a live build that's potentially, you know, going to cause problems, you know. So
they could take their time. Yeah, if they release it to everyone for PTU, they could take their time with the live 3.0, even though I don't think we're going to get 3.1 at March anymore. It may be April, May.
It would be the end of March would be the quarter. It would be the beginning of April.
Yeah.
Would technically be the quarterly.
I don't see that happening.
I don't think we'll get 3.1 then either. I think you'll get 3.1 in the middle of the year. I think we'll get some incremental at 3.0 something in the middle of that because they never promised to give 3.1, 3.2 every quarter. They promised they would deliver what they have quarterly. So as long as they drop something at that quarter, I don't give a shit. I really don't.
Look what they did with the Dragonfly. They just, whoop, here you go. There goes the Hello Kitty one.
But
Boom, drop
they're
it in there,
gonna,
it was all
yeah,
in
but they're
there.
gonna save everything up till the quarter release to make sure things are stable and stuff. We'll have PTU stuff going on in the background, so a lot of us will be playing it anyway, testing.
That's like
breaking,
bigger
and doing
features
stuff.
though. They'll probably still give us like ships to just throw in there and
Maybe.
oh, here you go.
Well, ships are not features. They're
Yeah. Ships,
Just
like
have
they're
to go through
assets.
testing.
That's what I'm saying. No longer ships have to get held back
No,
from okay, this big patch has to come out. In order
but they
for you
still
guys
have to
get it.
test them, and I think they won't just incrementally like throw all the ships out at us right away. I think it's smart for them to save a lot of them for the quarterly release. That way, if they don't have mining out, say, it's better that they have some extra ships and stuff to release them that have been fully vetted and tested. Not that they're holding them because they want to have something, but because they need to fully test them instead of releasing broken stuff. I want to make a live server that's a lot more stable than what we've seen 2.63. And the only way to do that is to really test the stuff leading up to the quarterly releases. That way, when you invite your buddy who's never played Star Citizen before to play the game, it's not, oh yeah, Joe, hop in. Oh yeah, that happens sometimes. Oh yeah, that's something that happens too. I mean, the game's going to be buggy because it's alpha, but if we can mitigate some of that to get us a pretty solid build instead of working through half a year to get the build solid, I say it's better. I'd say it's better all the way around that way. So I want to be able to show my friends the game without having to have them write a non-disclosure clause saying, yeah, shit's going to happen. The game's really fucked up and this is blah, blah, blah every time. Just get us a stable build for live. That's it.
Well, they've always done that. They're not going to change. They hit a certain date and they're like, this is feature complete for what we're putting out, and that's all that's going to be in it. That's it. That's not going to change.
Well, hopefully it changes in the frequency in which they do it, because they've drugged their feet on it a lot this last year with what they wanted to release because they wanted to put in more than what they had.
But like I said, last year was different because they were redoing the entire game engine. This year is all about content, not redesigning the engine.
I hope so. I hope so.
That's my money's on that.
That's what it's supposed to be, and I hope so. If they do what they say, what Chris said they're going to do, yes, it will be.
This game will go live, or 3.0 will go live before the end of the year.
I still
don't
agree
think
with
Heard it
that.
here first.
Really?
Heard it here first. Yep.
If they do, I'll say it's an absolute mistake if it's even close to what it is right now. If it's close to what we're driving right today, it'll be a big
That would be a
mistake for the
Christmas miracle.
It'd be a mistake. They could do it. There's nothing preventing them from pushing what we have live right now, but I think it's a
I would
Everybody
not want to
said
call that
worse
live
releases.
unless they got a trick up their sleeve.
Everybody said it was a mistake for them to release the from Evocati to the PTU when they did. They were like, "Oh my god!"
No,
it's
this
not
is a
ready.
little
It's still
different with all the
Evocati."
media production they've done from August through now with talking about 3.0, but it's coming. Every single gamer mag will be like, here it is. What do you think? Here's our review of the live 3.0 build. I don't think it's ready
Even
yet.
if they released it today, it's still a better build than they've ever released.
It's true.
It depends. It's better than 2.63.
Oh yeah,
Than that,
I
for
mean
sure.
the game right now with what I played, like what I played yesterday and what little I played today is better than 2.63, and it's stable. Like
Better
so
than,
yesterday,
better than 2.0 when it first
Yeah.
launched.
yeah, well,
The bar's
mean,
not high on that.
yeah,
You
no,
can
that-
trip
that's
over
a-
that.
that's setting
You can
the
trip.
bar.
You can trip over that bar.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. People are noticing. Everyone's complaining like, "Oh, it's a train mechanism."
The
blah, blah,
problem
blah,
isn't
CPU and this.
the problem with the live release, in my opinion, isn't what we think, because we look at it every day and we've seen the progress. It's about the brand new person who comes into the game and checks it out. And I still feel like they're really close. I think a couple more weeks of tuning, getting the 50 players solid, not to where just one or two of us are experiencing really good frames and all that stuff. Getting the guy who still has the lower i7 or the i5 just a little more tight, so he gets at least 20 frames and he can at least deliver a piece of cargo before he crashes would probably be good. Those of us who have $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $7,000 worth of computers, it runs pretty good for us. I still want to see the guy who can just buy like a 970 card and he's running like a 4770 he can still get away with
Hey,
it.
now that sounds like my build. Don't make me sound like a goddamn peasant there, Mitauchi.
You better get good, dude.
Get good, bro.
Get good.
I've been holding out. I'm about to probably make a new build. I heard NVIDIA's supposed to be at CES, so I think they're gonna release some.
Next year's the year for my new build is what I'm gonna plan.
Oh
on,
yeah,
we'll see.
I have to. And the one I'm using now is gonna be my stream rig because I'm tired of not being able to stream 3.0.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with it. And I think it'd be a huge mistake if they didn't go live PTU first before they just pushed it live. Let's see how stable it is when they take all the chains off and say everybody can get into the PTU. Let's see what happens then. If they go from right here without going full live PTU and then just go straight live, that'd be a huge mistake.
It has to be smoother. Like early access game, like, you know, PUBG, friends could hop in. There's minor disconnects. It's not perfect, but you could get a good session in with your friends.
Well, they still got 2 solid weeks before the end of the year. I mean, if they open up live PTU and then they give that like a few days, and if it's amazing, they could push it live if they want to during a holiday break. That'd be kind of weird, but they could do it. They've done it before. That half their staff had to stay in the office.
You don't want nothing that's going to break the game real bad before while people are on break. That'll be a disaster.
Yeah. But they could. I'm not saying they won't. They've made bad decisions before. But I still say beginning of next year is when they'll go live with it.
Yeah, I would say the month of January needs to be your due date for, okay, we're going to knock out.
They can even do first week of January. They just need to give it live, full open PTU test for at least a few days.
But they can give it the full polish that whole month. Get some of this CPU stuff, spikes and all that crazy stuff. Figure out what's going on, give it the proper polish, and then boom.
Yeah,
that should be a good enough deadline because we all know the first week and second week gonna be a little drag ass because we're in the year, getting back on track.
Yeah, we'll see. But I think it will be soon. But I still don't hold out hope for live release this year. Live PTU would be smarter. All right, so what are your guys' expectations for the holiday amazing? No longer live stream, but ATV. And are you disappointed that it's no longer going to be a live stream?
Thank God, because last year was a fucking disaster.
They cannot do a live stream on this because this thing needs to be polished by freaking J.J. Abrams and released on, pre-recorded.
Yeah.
They want this thing to look amazing. It needs to be pre-done.
I hope they don't have lots of lens flare.
Yeah. I will say they did such a good job at CitizenCon. The bar's set too high, I think, to do a holiday live stream. I'm not disappointed. I'm happy they made this choice instead, and I think they'll be happier going into the holiday because of it. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I agree. Hindsight is good. It's not a live stream after all the drama because it'd be Trollpalooza in there right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Like I said, they need these walkthroughs to look beautiful, be perfect. So everything needs to be pre-recorded, pre-done, polished, gone over 100 million times. So it looks like Gamescom. All these other companies that came out with their little things at Gamescom, that's what we're going to see next week.
I would love it if they did like a stick off like Devolver though one year. Like where it was like a total like goofy joke on themselves, bloody type mess type stuff where they just did something like crazy fun. But I would love it if they like made fun of themselves during the recording, like had shots of like Sandy getting into her purse.
Fucking giving someone the bitch face.
Yeah, cutting over to the wrong person on the thing. It's a recording, but like them trolling themselves would be fun to see. I think it would be nice and it'd be us all in a good mood going into the holiday. So I hope they do.
What I'm expecting from the stream, I'm expecting we need a goddamn the schedule report on Squadron 42. It's been long overdue. We've been hearing about it.
It's been promised by Aaron. Aaron said that we will get a production schedule explicitly for Squadron 42 by the end of the year. Here, it's supposed to be during this ATV that's going on. So we'll see.
What. They need to drop it now. Out of all the times, they need to right now show that and show better clarity with that. And I definitely want to see more Squadron 42 because we have barely seen anything but what the Bishop talk. That's about it.
The Moro tour.
Yeah, the Moro tour, more polished on some of those characters because as we've seen with the.
I do not want to see a replay of the Moro tour. I know some people want to see like how long it's been developed on stuff. I don't want to see the same shit. I want to see Vanduul fighting Marines. I want to see walking not through the ship, that part of the story, but I want to see like NPCs interacting or doing something.
You know what I want to see?
Sort of that. What?
I want to see them do the Moro tour, and we're all like, "Oh man, here's the." All of a sudden, boom! The ship shakes, and you're like, "Oh!" And then the guy who's like, and then down over there, and then boom, and then lights start spinning, and emergency starts happening, and everybody are running around and starting to freak out, and then they're man your battle stations, alert, like something like that, where it starts off exactly like the Moro tour, the exact same script.
Yeah, and they flip the switch on. That would be good.
Boom.
That would be good.
A shit battle with Star Wars out right now? Oh my god, that'd be a killer combo because everyone's talking about Star Wars.
Right?
Killer shit battle like that.
Would be. They got. They're going to feature Hamill in it.
So then Hamill's character runs past you as you're talking with this guy and says, "What are you doing? Get to the ships!" And then runs past, and then you get to, then the guy you're playing runs out there.
Need a ship
out there, and then all of a sudden, 3 big king ships, or like a king ship and 2 drillers, come boom, 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 right there, and you're like, what?
The only fight scene I could even think of in all their even cinematography history of fighting Vanduul was the Cutlass commercial. I can't even think of them doing an actual, hey, we're fighting the Vanduul in anything they've shown.
That station, when you were at the station and the Vanduul appear and torpedoes at the station and it's boom, blows up in your face, right?
Dude, it would be so fucking awesome to see that because, I mean, right now people are looking for a game that does that, and let's be honest, Battlefront 2 doesn't do that. No. I mean, that generic ass fucking ship battling. This would be the real deal. Boarding, fighting, shooting cannons at each other. Mark Hamill at the perfect timing. And if Saji drops this reveal with Star Wars out at the same time as with this being shown, I mean, that's going to be sad. I really hope they do not drop the ball because they have a lot of potential to pull this off.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and we haven't seen a good fight.
That's true. Bang Chow pointed out the first fight of the Idris battle. But that was like the original. And I didn't know, was that the original Idris in that? Or was that the...
No, that was the Bangle, wasn't it?
That was the Bangle of what they thought it was. The original Kickstarter vid way back when.
Yeah. That was when you first... The first when you saw the Bangle flying through the asteroids and then they
did fight Vanduul in that, so they're right.
Yeah.
That's when Crying Tech wasn't being assholes.
Now.
Well, so people keep asking. So what I think is going to happen is they are streaming it on Twitch, but I think a lot of it's going to be pre-recorded, if not all of it.
I think the whole thing, it's an ATV. They're calling it an ATV, holiday ATV.
But they are streaming it on Twitch.
Right. The presentation part of it is going to be pre-recorded, but I think they're going to be live in the studio saying, okay, so here's this part, and then press the button.
So like the Drake special with Lando before they did the, what was it? The pick a ship or whatever. I guess they had it on live stream. And then that was the recorded version. Then they had the live part on there. Maybe they're doing something like that.
Maybe so. You can see that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And again, I'm the main reason I backed Star Citizen wasn't for Squadron 42, but I am still excited to play that because it's in the universe. It's in the universe and set it to do that. So I think it's going to be really fun to play and do stuff.
I wasn't sold until I seen Gary Oldman and Mark Hamill. That's when I was like, "Whoa, okay."
I get into single player games.
Excited.
The reason you don't see me play a lot of single player games because I get into them for the story. And let's be honest, most video games have a crap story. They're like
very trash.
They're just very trash. A couple cutscenes that go there. There's not a cool story put together. There's a handful of games I can think of where it had a pretty decent story. Assassin's Creed: The Origins wasn't bad. It was okay. The best story game that I can think of recent memory playing was Last of Us. Last of Us was an amazing story, and it was based on a console. I can't even believe that a console game had such a great...
Well, for me, Mass Effect, just the decisions, sci-fi, even though, they kind of fucked it up, it was still amazing. I never really played anything like it, where you could have those type of decisions and pick your crew, and you could play it 4 or 5 times and have a whole bunch of different results. I mean, it was amazing. And that's what I'm hoping that we get out of this.
Yep. We'll see. Hopefully we'll get a lot of that. I want it to be good enough to where you have those cutscenes you could splice together and make a YouTube video movie. The stories are that cool.
Yeah, I don't think that the cutscenes are going to be like what people think. I think that it's going to, like Chris Roberts said, and like they've said before, you're actually going to be able to run. I mean, you're going to be in the cutscene. It's not, it isn't a cutscene where you're no longer in control. You're going to be able to run around if you want, So, and they might actually be
Gary Oldman while he's giving the speech up there.
That's right. Well, so that might be, so the bishop speech, my guess is if we do see it in the game, it'll be like rendered in texture. Yeah, it'll be on screens, right? Yeah. So you won't actually be at that location. Although that location will eventually be built. The Senate will be built, and there we will probably be able to go visit it, eventually, but not for a few years.
Yeah. Yes, and Toy is trying to find a rip in the space-time continuum there. It's right about there. He's gonna find a way to tear out of the zone. It's like a lens flare from the way that the chroma key's detecting his green screen, because it's like super
ghost.
Yeah, it's super bright in that one top corner, but it's doing okay until something else reflects on it.
That's what I liked about the the little training video or training thing we used to have. You could go and mess with the NPC and troll him. That's my favorite thing to do, just troll NPCs. I used to do that in Skyrim all the time, just fuck around with them and see what they do.
Yeah, I'm
hoping to have that type of interaction.
That's me too. I only go mess with NPCs.
Yeah, I would love to see them get the so one of the big things they're working on right now, and it's been better, is the AI in 3.0. So it's starting to really come up and work.
Yep.
So the one problem that I think
starting to work. It needs
a
lot of love to go, but yes.
Yeah, the jobs need to populate quicker because they're running out real fast. I
would like to see even the NPCs when they're walking around, and this wouldn't be really difficult to do. I'd like to see them interact with each other.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
because I think they could scene that even now. You know what I mean? It's like right now.
I'd love to have it.
Everybody's
if you bump into them, and they'd be like, "Hey, man, what's up?"
Yeah, just like kind of like the shopkeepers interact with you, right? When you come in, they're like, "Hey," and they talk to you a little bit or something like that. But I think it's funny that you go to some of these stations and half the NPCs are super healthy because they're jogging, but none of them talk to each other. None of it. It's like everybody's it's like being in LA. Nobody likes each other, but they're all really worried about their own health.
Yeah, I want to see them going to ships, taking off. See if you could follow them, or when they land, they come in and
go in between stations themselves
or something, or buy stuff. Yeah, I definitely want to see more of that.
Yep, that'd be cool. Yep, I'd like to go into shop and have somebody else buying stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tired of them sitting down and just looking on their mobi-glass or looking at a sign for 20 minutes.
Or quit looking at your iPad the whole time. It's always it's like
they'll get there.
Even if their iPad's not in his hand anymore because it's bugged out.
Yeah,
I mean, at least they're not doing what they used to do, which is
nothing.
I mean, they're so much better than they used to be.
Not being.
They just sit there with the black eyes and give you the death stare, creepy.
Well, no,
shit.
they would they'd be all lined up. Like they're in line at the DMV or something, and
oh yeah,
you know what they should have done to fix that? Time. They should have just put a DMV sign right above the last guy's head.
Oh,
that would have been perfect.
That would have been funny.
It's like take
they
one.
They would have trolled us hard.
Yep. Boop, take one. That would have been great.
Yeah, and then that that echoey voice that you hear in the distance.
Yeah.
Instead of having her be pad 1, it'd be like now serving number 433.
433.
Now serving 433.
There you go.
Have a little
the
number.
sign says, yeah, the sign up there says 433. Guys in their hands have 1,242 tickets.
Yeah.
It's like it's all day. It's all day, man.
And people looking at each other is trying to pass each other. You know, that would be funny.
That's right. And guys,
You know,
if you haven't noticed, go ahead and get into the $10 gift card that we're giving away. You do have to follow everybody here at the show, including the frozen picture of Geo Get Money.
That sexy motherfucker at the bottom right.
That's right. He's right
Before
there.
a beard.
Yeah, he really wants you to buy his space game he made because it's very important to him.
Got high ratings everywhere.
High ratings everywhere.
Line of Dicks, the best game ever.
Perfect. So, Gio, your before and afters are amazing, by the way.
Wow, I look so much more retarded. Wow.
The resemblance is uncanny.
I'm saying once you started playing Battle Cruiser, you aged a lot. I mean, that just went downhill. I don't know what happened.
Man, you know, that shit stresses you out, you know? I'm like, God damn, you know, the N64 fucking graphics. My God.
Yep. It's crazy.
It was like 1080p, 4K.
Yeah. Absolutely. And guys, if you have questions for us, make sure you're doing ! questions in chat, and I'll get you the link over to our question doc to do that stuff. So we're going to go around the room now. We're going to ask what everybody's plans are, how their show's going to shape up as we near the holidays. A lot of people have crazy schedules between work and family and everything else. So let's start out with Gio, because I know Gio's got a master plan because he couldn't even make the SpaceBro show on time tonight. So you go for it, buddy.
Super late, man. No.
Super late. Push back the show 45 minutes for you. God.
And it's still late. I'm sorry, guys.
That's
I'm sorry about that.
That's what bros do for each other, though.
Well, you know what I would like to do? I don't know if you guys would like to do like in a week or two, if we could have a special SpaceBro spoiler talk of Star Wars.
Oh.
I think that'd be pretty fun because there's a lot to talk about. And I know a lot of us are Star Wars fans.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we could line something up like that. I think that'd be pretty cool. Maybe before
We could do
Christmas
that.
or something.
That'd be cool to talk about. Uber's seeing it tomorrow, I think. Toy's still got to get down and see it.
I'll go see it.
So go see it. Go give everybody the weekend, maybe into next week, and we'll.
Yeah, we got his drones if you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Have a mega SpaceBro show.
Yeah, I went and saw it this afternoon with the wife. So.
Speaking of that, where is drones? I haven't heard them.
Hold on just a second. Daughter is.
Oh, wait.
Uh-oh.
You haven't heard him? We could have put a still
Even
up
when
there.
He's here, we don't hear
We
him.
could have put a still up there, and it would have been like he was on the show. No, we love drones.
Like, oh, everyone's here.
No, we try to get drones out of his shell here. But he is very talkative on it when he's on his own show. We just haven't got him to chat it up here.
Open up here.
Yeah. So.
I try every week. I sit and.
Oh, you know what we should
I
do,
haven't
Gio?
messaged him the whole show.
Mm-hmm. We should recreate scenes from the Star Wars. We'll do our own
Ooh,
Space
that
Pro
would be
synopsis.
good.
That would be cool. Like our favorite scene reenactments, summaries.
Well, I got to be Kylo Ren because I already have the helmet and lightsaber. So, and I could throw rage fits like he does. I think that'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah, I don't blend into any of the characters there.
Any of them?
No, none of them there.
I know. When you were watching it, you were like me. All you could think is about Star Citizen with a lot of those scenes.
Oh yeah, there was good stuff.
I just kept thinking about Star Citizen.
Yep.
Oh, who's that? Santa Toy?
I'm Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill with the Santa hat on, right? You're good to go.
You know, you're gonna ride the sleigh and give us some LTI. You heard it first here, guys. Toys coming down your chimney and give you LTI.
Crazy sauce. But Gia, so what's your stream schedule look like next week?
Ooh, next week.
Yep.
Let's see. Got a couple doctor appointments. I still have to fix my stream schedule. I gotta get a solid one. But I'm probably gonna start doing Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully around 3 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Right on. Follow
Those
Gio
are
on
probably
Twitter.
my first 2 days.
If you follow Geo Get Money TV on Twitter,
TV.
that way you can actually get when he goes live. That would be really important, guys. So do that. Follow his channel and follow him on Twitter.
And eventually, what I'm planning on to do is have a weekly show as well. It probably won't be a Star Citizen based show. I'm just gonna go full on ranting on a lot of the bullshit games in the industry right now that I don't like. Some I do like, and just gonna talk about it.
Yep.
So that's hopefully next year I can get that going. I gotta find a name for it and all that stuff. So
call it Thur Rant Day.
Geo get rants.
Geo get rants. Yep.
Rosebud.
Yep. There it is. All right, Uber, what's your schedule look like moving into this weekend and next week?
So, as everybody knows now, I am on the weekdays streaming 7:30 p.m., 9:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. On the weekends, tomorrow I'm going to start probably early 7 a.m. my time till about 1 or 2 p.m. And then on Sunday, again, 7 a.m. all the way till about 2 p.m. So quite long streams, but a little bit earlier my time. But for the people on the East Coast, it's better. For people in Europe, it's better. So all around, it'll hopefully make me more available, and be a lot of fun. There may be a raffle for some cool stuff.
Cool.
So
I like cool stuff.
Yeah, everybody does.
Cool stuff is pretty cool.
Like one of the guns. By the way, have you guys used the guns yet? The little Cash Tech Arms.
No, I
SMGs?
haven't. Well, I don't know. Did I use the new one?
I have one in the game.
I only use the rifle and the railgun. What's the new rifle? I forgot the name of it. I love that thing.
The P8?
The P8 SMG.
Is that the name of it? Yeah, I think it holds like 60 rounds.
Yeah, I don't like that. It's just, the lift on it is too much.
It's very lifty, but it's also it's kind of a spray and pray. So it's one of those things that's a little better for that. But it does hop around a lot. I still like the P4AR.
Like it.
P4AR is still my baby, and I really enjoy the railgun. Railgun's pretty cool.
Railgun's cool. It just doesn't do shit to the ships like I want it to.
Oh, it doesn't need to do shit to ships. Does shit to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you wanted to take I used like 10 rounds on a fucking saber.
I got a shot that I was up on the side of a cliff of a hill over an outpost, and the guy was running around where you just barely see him because he's just barely in snapping into LOD. So you see him, looks like he's T-posed, going beep 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 around on the ground way out there. And I saw right when he got to the door, and I fired around perfectly, and it killed him. Right when he got to the door, I timed it perfect for him to arrive, and just this random railgun bolt went boosh. It was perfect. It was perfect. He thought he was good. He was like all serpentine and stuff. I just waited till he got to the door and went, and it was perfectly shot.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea to drive the Gray Cat inside Alosar. Pack that boy up and go in there trolling. Oh man, you done gave me an idea.
I saw a guy trying to get the Merlin inside there the other day, and you couldn't get it through the second airlock or something. So it's pretty crazy. All right, and then Toy stream schedule plans this weekend. What's going on with you?
You know, I'm going to stream sometime this weekend. I don't know when exactly, but
he's busy. He's got the elves at the shop making toys, so.
Well, you know.
Me and Toy in the same boat with streaming.
It's been crazy around here lately. It's finally, like I said, slowing down, so I can get back to a good schedule now.
Yeah.
Just need to do it.
Yeah, that's the hard part for me with Twitch.
Yep. Yeah, we need to get you guys on 1 day a week and then to be determined.
Yeah.
We do, because you can always stream more than your schedule, but you need 1 day where people know you're going to be on. So that way we can get you there.
It's Fridays. Right now.
SpaceBro Friday.
Got to carry this guy. Carry him. Set the schedule to show and everything. He'll show up with a Santa costume. And that's it. All right. And then for me, we'll be streaming not tomorrow afternoon, surprisingly, because I'll be going out with a family to Crown Center down in Kansas City, taking the kids to go hang out with possibly Santa Claus, go buy some fudge at the candy shops, and
just take them to Toy.
Well, just take them to Toyland.
Yeah, Toy got all the gear on.
There you go. He's got candy canes already. So,
And they're gonna say, "Wow, Santa got skinny."
Yeah, skinny. Santa lost all his weight. What happened? So, no, but we're gonna go down there, and this is something we try to do this once a year with my grandmother. So it's gonna be all of us going down there with her and hanging out and having some fun. So we'll just tweet from there. But we should be back early because we're going down there about 9 or 10 in the morning. We'll eat lunch, check out a few shops, and then we'll be back. So I'll be back tomorrow afternoon. Then Sunday we'll be back on the air, hanging out, doing our thing. I imagine we're going to have a nice live stream watch party next week. Not live stream watch party, but ATV watch party like we normally do. And have fun with that. And we should be launching the Stream Theory podcast. We'll probably kick off first Sunday in January is probably the plan at this point. We're still going to have our New Year's Eve bash and do all that stuff. But yeah, we're definitely going to be doing the first podcast of that. And I'll give you times as it gets forward on that. And it's mostly going to be centralized around featuring a single streamer, doing like a one-on-one, talking about their process, their workflow on how they stream, what they do, and just finding out more about them. And then we're going to augment that. We have a new webpage going up on the Mitauchi.com website where we're talking about that. We're going to introduce our hardware review section, which the first item was happily sent over by Elgato. So we'll be doing the Stream Deck, and then we'll have a giveaway associated with this that we'll be posting up too. From
I wish they would give me my fucking green screen on Amazon.
They
I've been
just
waiting for
updated.
that.
They just got them in. They should be shipping out this week.
Well, that was on their website. On Amazon, no one knows yet.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, they got to get it from them to there.
I'm tired of my green screen. I always got to have it up, and that thing is just a fucking miracle device.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I can't wait. Hopefully, I'll get one to test on that next. We'll see. But we'll be doing the full. I'll be shooting some of the review video on this, hopefully this weekend. And
I'll probably use that more than my Stream Deck. I haven't used my Stream Deck once yet.
Oh, wow. You're missing out, bro.
Oh, dude.
You're missing
Stream
out.
Deck is amazing.
Yeah. You're missing out. I don't know how I can stream without it now.
Well, you got a lot of scenes. See, I don't really do that many scenes, so it's kind of like, eh.
Maybe need to get good.
Get good, bro.
Screwed me all up.
No.
Wrecked.
Karma just bit you in the ass, Mitt.
I'm
Get
back.
good. Blam.
God
I'm
damn.
back.
Y'all see, I strike
Can't
it.
hold me down. He's
And his
using that
audio's now
Jetto
gone.
mind trick.
Where's your audio?
No.
That's
Geo get dark side. I was using that dark side power on you, bro.
My audio works
Geo
fine for the
giveth
stream,
and
but not
Geo
them.
taketh away.
Yeah. My audio works fine for the stream. You guys can hear me, but they can't. But that's okay, because between you and me, these guys, I don't know what to tell them. They just need to step it up. Step it up a little bit. Let's see here. And we'll go over to questions. Maybe just need to mute them. I know Toy can't hear us. I was just having a private moment with the stream. You guys didn't know. You didn't need to hear about it. So they could hear me.
Oh.
They could hear me. You guys couldn't.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
Yeah. That's the way that goes. All right. Let's get over here. Let's get in some questions and see if we got any good uns in the mix real quick. Let's scroll down on this. Bloop, 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 bloop. We got a couple. In here. All right. Let's go over to Shadow Spear saying, so you fly through a lightning storm. If your ship takes a lightning strike, how should that be? Shield damage or systems down type of thing? That's a
How
great
does it
question.
work on airplanes? They're grounded.
Yeah. Basically, there's a system built into all airplanes that handle lightning strikes. They're struck constantly, and they're not affected at all.
Yep.
Actually. So, yeah, nothing should happen.
Yeah, not with a lightning strike. I would think the winds would be more dangerous from the storm maybe you're in than the lightning.
EMP is different than a lightning strike. Electromagnetic pulse is a completely different animal. So,
I can't wait to fly into sandstorms and then have your ship go.
Yeah, just
Like
get
a
blown
kite.
apart. Yeah, it's like you can't see anything, and it's like shaking all over. It's like, what? Thrown through there. All right. Next question from Commander Benkai. Other than EMP, what interdiction mechanics would you like to see? Oh my god, please don't call EMP an interdiction mechanic. I just don't like that. I just don't like it because their interdiction talks about pulling stuff out of space and quantum, and there's just nothing about EMP that like falls in that category.
Well, everyone knows what mechanic I want by now.
What, harpoon?
Yep, but harpoon
With a-
fishing. Yeah.
Harpoon with a cable.
There you
Well,
go.
we
Old
did
school.
see the space whale on that.
Oh my
what post was
God.
that? They showed the space whales. They did. They
PETA,
were like-
PETA be in this arm deep, all right? It's like you're harpooning space whales.
We know they're not real, but still.
That's right.
Geo's going to become the Captain Ahab of
Yeah.
Star Citizen.
That's right.
I see that white whale.
Yep.
I'm going after it now.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to be able to have a boat
Mr.
slash ship that could convert into two.
Oh my god. So you could go out real whaling and space whaling, so you could get double.
Yep, land in the water, get my whale, put the thrusters on, get up out of there.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, either way, so what are you guys? Everybody knows what I think the interdiction should be. I've preached about enough. It's EVE Online interdiction is pretty much what I'm looking for in this. What do you guys think about interdiction? I know Uber and I have talked about it before, but why don't you remind everybody what your thoughts were on the interdiction mechanics, like how they should go down.
For me, I like the idea of having some sort of like, the dish that's on top of the Endeavor.
Mhm.
Something like that, maybe ranging in size from small on a single person craft to very large that would be on like an Endeavor size ship that you would have to aim at like a point in space. So you'd have to do math. If you don't want to do math, well then give up on interdiction, but you'd have to do math to kind of figure out, okay, so we've got this point, so you go and you know that they're traveling from point A to point B. You hope that you have calculated their travel time based on that all the ships go at this particular quantum speed, and then you aim at that point at the right time. You push the button, it sends out a heavy pulse that should take a ship out of quantum, should basically not fry its systems completely, but at least take it out of quantum, and then have them force them all, the people on board the ships to manual system. Right? So something like that, where it is a race against time to get your systems back up before the pirates get to you and start looting you.
Yep. Hold on. Toy, how about you?
I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work yet, but if that's something similar to that, like what Uber Nerd's talking about, but this is the thing. I think when you start a quantum jump, it should make basically your tube from point A to point B. In that way, hey, there's a ship going to be traveling along there. That way you can focus in on that thing to shut it down. But when you do that, you're basically making yourself a criminal too, because you're interfering in
If you're in modern
quantum travel.
space, yeah.
So
I would say
I
that'd be
think
fair.
I
don't
would like
think
to see that.
Yeah, I don't think the game should give us their path, their travel path. I think you should have to calculate it. You should say, based on what their target is, because you can, you can generally.
But how are you going to know where somebody's jumping? I mean,
Well, you're going to know general area if they're going from one to another.
If they're going to a random, like, I don't know if we can do random jumps, but if they're going like from Crusader to Hurston, well, depending on the orbits, there's only one general path to go in. So you make a guess, and if you're wrong, you miss. If you're right, you get them, you take them out of quantum. I want it to be skill based.
Yeah. I want it to be kind of similar to that, but a net that you put up in a certain area that blocks that path for a certain period of time. You'd have to time it still. You see a guy entering jump or getting ready to come through one jump portal, and you think he's going to Hurston or somewhere, you can put up a drag net in that area, and as long as he's passing through, and the net's like really wide. It's like, kilometers wide, but it only stays up maybe for 10, 15, 30 seconds. So you have to still time when you're going to put your net up to catch somebody. And whatever comes through, if there's like 16 other warships that are coming through from a different angle and they cross that path, you drag them out too. You don't get a focus on the one ship. It's whatever you time and you hit, that's what you pull out. And it could be what you hope it was, or it could be some other crap that's a bunch of ships you didn't mean to pull out.
But see, like Link said, I think the scanning should basically enable you to see the travel somebody's doing. Because just guessing in space is huge.
Where they've been, but not where they're going. You have to make the calculations where they're going based on, so the shorter the jump, the harder it is for you to determine where they're going. The longer the jump you can go, and your computer should help you a little bit. So you go, oh, okay, so extrapolate this, and then you should have to do some work. I don't want to see people just having an easy time at it, because interdiction is going to be if it's easy to do, it's a troll tool. That's all it is. It's not a game mechanic.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they do it, because NPCs will be able to do it at will too, because you're going to get a lot of NPCs pulling people out. And they already said in their tests that they've been doing that they're pulling people out too often.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. What I think is that if they do it my way, make it you have to work for it, then it's worth, it really becomes, yes, you're stealing other people's stuff. So on the side of the stuff side of things, you're not working. But on the other side, you're having to aim it. First, you have to scan to get their path. So they've gone into quantum, and you're like, okay, so here's the path. You send that to your buddy who's at this other coordinate in between Crusader and Hurston, because you're not going to be able to, once you scan their path, you see, okay, they've gone this far in the route. So now you have to use that to calculate, okay, considering Hurston might be the location, you can tell now that they're going to Hurston. So, okay, great. Now let's do that.
See, the only problem I have with doing the math on that is because I feel like you have to be in that flight path. And how, if they've already entered and completed a quantum calculation to go somewhere, are you going to get in front of them to intercept them?
You're not.
Well,
that's
then,
right. You can't do it by yourself. I'm against being able to, just being able to do a warp like the EMP, just be able to sit in the path and just rip people out. Maybe there might be some really basic stuff like that, but that would be random, like you were saying, where oh, that's an interest.
Yeah, and that's what I want. I want it to where and it's not just players you pull out. Maybe you pull out whatever comes through. So you'd pull out NPCs. So if the UE happens to be on patrol and you're in that path and you pull that out, that's your ass.
I want there to be other, interdiction devices you can put on your ship that take real skill to use. And like I said, you have one guy.
I'm all for a variety of interdiction devices.
Watching as this big, heavily cargo ship leaves, and you're like, okay,
see what I would do.
Clandestinely scanning their ship, and then they jump, and I continue to scan them as they're going, and then I say, okay, here is my data. Send it to my buddies, because that goes way faster.
Yeah. See, I would do it twofold, because some ships are going to be shielded against interdiction, and I'd use your method on the ships that are more shielded, where they're still pulled out, but you have to do a lot more gameplay in order to get these special ships out, special cargo ships, special even types of warships that are shielded against that. But maybe the lesser common ships, and this would encourage people to upgrade or whatever, they can be pulled out, but more a blanket net system. And it'd be the same thing like EMPs. There's tiers. Right? You have tiers of shielding against stuff, and there's tiers you can use. Like an EMP, like we said before, a small EMP is only effective against other fighters or something small. You can't use a Saber Raven to EMP and Idris. But maybe these different things, you could drag out different ships of different shielding or whatever based on the type of ship you use, like this. If there's somebody doing a specialty cargo ship, or something that's shielded against it, say they even shield some of the holes, maybe if you want to pull a hole E out, you got to calculate it out. If you want to pull a hole A out, you just have to time it right, and you got a 30-second window to try to drop that thing out. But I'd also say in monitored space, you're going to take a 5-point hit pulling somebody out. In unmonitored space, you'd see this used a lot more. The way they insulate interdiction in EVE is you can't use interdiction in HiSec at all. They don't allow you to. You don't get a criminal rating, you get UEE police jump in and they blow you the hell up. So I would like to see interdiction of this magnitude used more by players in unmonitored space. And they'd have to come up with different methods of interdiction in high sec so it doesn't get used so heavily as a troll. That's what I would say. Because I would see like a police response. If the UEE in a monitored system detects somebody popping interdiction bubbles or something, they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We're going to send a fleet over there. So you got like 30 seconds to do what you're doing, and here comes the noise, you know? But if you're doing it, mostly it'd be used somewhere else. You'd have to use something a much smaller footprint in order to interdict stuff and not have the police all over your butt, is what I would say. Because I think if you...
sounds like they're going to have levels of interdiction, too.
They're going to have to.
A little tiny ship isn't going to...
But either way, if it's going to be something you do for a criminal rating, what people don't realize is when the full functional NPCs are, you're going to mark a military response if it's a heavily monitored military system or police system. You're not going to get 5-6 points of that, and everybody's going to be like, oh, well, he just went up criminal, but nobody cares. There's going to be some sort of escalating response to you. So you're not going to have 10-20 minutes of a boarding the ship battle if you're in like a main system with a UEE base, right? Like, you know, a planet away from you. So I don't think the troll's going to happen as much. I think the troll's going to happen. The troll's going to get wrecked by NPCs and everybody's going to point and laugh at them. So it's going to happen. That's what I think. CS says, yeah, Mitauchi interdiction is supposed to reserve for military and police forces, right? Private individuals have the reason to, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be more EMP type stuff in high security and monitored space. You're going to have more full on interdiction and that more complicated stuff that's like pulls people out for players out in unmonitored space. I would say you take the bigger risk. That's where it'd be more prevalent. But we'll see what they have, because they obviously have a plan, because they already talk about, you know, NPCs doing it to you and stuff. Revoxer says, knowing that drones are not in-game yet and have sub-mechanics, my question is, would you want to see drone mechanics use or applications developed into? You mean like operating drones from like an app? Like a mobile device? Is that what you're talking about?
Is he talking about from Moby-Glass?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Maybe.
What was the question again?
I mean, I would hope so, especially if I have like an Explorer type armor on.
Revoxer says, knowing that drones are not in game yet and have some mechanics, my question is, what would you like to see drone mechanics use or applications develop into? So maybe what you'd use drones for in game would be easy.
Okay, it
They
depends.
said
Because,
that drones
you got
would be
drones.
controlled. Go ahead.
I was saying, you got the drones on the reclaimer. I think something like that should only be controlled from the ship. Mm-hmm. Now, when I go from something in my character, I go exploring, I want like a small portable drone like we now have nowadays. I let it go out and scout ahead a little bit. I want to control something like that on my Moby-Glass, because even today, we can control drones on our phones. So I think that'd be cool. Those small drones for like scouting ahead or stuff. I think that'd be cool. But some of the bigger stuff that's attached to the ship should only be controlled on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I think it is. Because I think they have
radar.
the little control thing. You know, like the mining stations
You
have
got
the
really
little
quiet,
mining
Uber.
booth. What's that?
Uber's trying to talk at the same time you were, but you got really
I can't
quiet.
hear
Yeah, I
him.
know.
Yeah,
I know
he's
what
sorry.
about that. That's
Well, not
okay.
muted, but low.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
my for some reason I can't figure out Discord. Anyways, what I was just gonna say, and I'll let you go on with that. I was just gonna say that you know how we have that little radar military armor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd like to see them have some sort of like it maybe a backpack or something that takes up a weapon slot, right? So you have 2 weapons on your back. Well, this takes up a weapon slot.
Mm-hmm.
In it are 4 small like drones about the size of a grenade that you can launch, and they can be destroyed or shot down, but they would increase your radar range by quite a way, or they could help you to scan topography, or they would basically shine down like a UV light from 30 feet up in a cone. So around you, everything would be like purple or green, like for night vision or something like that. Drones that would do stuff like that, like actual purposes in the game, rather than just some little thing that you could control and steer around. They would have those too, but they would be the the explorer drones. They would be for mapping or stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But I would like to see personal drones all have and they could even make it really simple, because even now, like, we have little teeny drones that you just can throw up in the air and they auto fly and they'll follow you based on the little wrist band that you wear, and they'll always focus on you.
But see, they can use the render to texture technology, and say you take one of those little personal drones, throw it up, you pull out your Mobi glass, and then use through your Mobi glass to pilot that thing around within a certain range. And that way you can scout ahead a little bit.
UAV or something.
Exactly.
Right, but that would be a specific type of drone, right? So you'd have to you'd have to split them up. That wouldn't do all things, right? So maybe that one would be a good scout, drone, but it wouldn't have the proper scanners. Like, I'd like to see drones that would have a scanner in them just for mineral surveys. So you could have a drone, you could sit there with your Mobi glass and then have it go doing little surveys of different areas, and then you'd call it back, and then you'd drive over this way, and then maybe they could be like in the on like a cyclone or something like that, and it would have a couple drones on there for going out and doing surveys of different areas. I mean,
that'd be so cool. Yeah, because we got tech like that today. I seen a video where they throw them and just like they used it to actually put stuff in the game. It scanned the mountains and stuff, and it implemented it in the game. So just to have seeing the different type of land from that far and get all the information without going out walking and exploring all yourself, I think that'd be dope.
If you guys haven't had the opportunity yet, and this is actually ties in the subject of drones, if you haven't had the opportunity yet to watch the Vimo video of My Radar, where Andy Green interviewed Chris Roberts, I would encourage you to, because they actually broach this subject, talking about drone development. And right now, Chris confirmed the main aspects, what they're looking to use drones for in the beginning is for salvage, repair, and mining. They're going to have the 3 classifications of drones that are tailored to specific ships that utilize those. And then he also talked about the possibility of actually controlling a drone as a camera moving forward down there, obviously. But the main thing is to get the 3 sets of drones functional right now for salvage, repair, and mining, so they can facilitate those functions on those specific ships.
Right.
And so it'd probably be more of a target, have them go do the thing right now, instead of an intelligent, I'm going to fully function. But he also did mention about piloting the individual drone to facilitate things like repair and those type of things. So it was actually pretty cool that they're thinking in that sort of mannerism. So
I'm glad there's no combat drones, because that could get a little trolly.
Yeah, we had a huge problem with combat drones in EVE. At one time, you could put drone links and you could have like your own fleet of drones that you just say, go attack. And so we had so many assets on the field, it brought the server frames down to nothing. Because imagine like having 100 people with 12 drones each, throw them at each other. You just had dots flying everywhere on, it's like, it was insane. And then that plus rendering missiles, it was crazy. But if you guys haven't got to watch that video, there's a link for it. You could always save that for later. It's very good. Just to summarize some of the other things they go over in this, they talk about multi-crew ship positioning for the actual, monitors inside the Idris, things of that nature. They talk about the halosphere on the Idris bridge, and is that implemented on some other ships. They talk a little bit about the 600i, not a lot to it there, but talked about the Javelin, also rendered to texture, allowing players, the entire purpose of them putting that in was to allow players to take video of other players in the game. That's what they want to do. The render texture stuff is just the beginning of that, and that's a whole aspect of what they want to do, which will eventually, I'm presuming it wasn't stated in the video, but tie into some of the Twitch stuff that they want to also implement down the road. They talked about there will be public transportation and networks and stuff inside the game, to where you could take things like some sort of pseudo monorails, those type of things, to travel between A and B in large scope cities, much like ArcCorp, those type of things.
I talked about that all in 12 minutes?
Yes. He just broached on these. This is just a summary highlights real quick. They talked about whether or not about undiscovered planets. He said there will be undiscovered planets and systems still not initially displayed on your star map that you'll have to discover and reveal in order to have them revealed on your star map. So you won't be able to like just know everything off the outset. You won't have the Terrapin in 3.0, but it'll be out shortly after. And he did reaffirm the thing that I absolutely hate, their feature, that they want to still allow players to Agent Smith into a friend's NPC on their ship, so you could just teleport over and join your buddy out in the middle of the galaxy to play if you want to. They're still plan on doing that.
That bothers me too.
I hate that. I don't like that idea at all. I don't. I think that's it circumvents
I can see it getting
whole
abused.
Well, because he doesn't want teleportation in the game, but yet he's going to allow that Agent Smithing where you can take over the body of somebody else. I don't like that. So if I have 100 NPCs on the Idris and I ring the alarm, I can get all the Space Bros jumping in and doing the thing. So, that's
the problem comes with one solar system having a 45-minute jump from one side to the other.
Yeah.
And your friend, hey, I'm getting off work in an hour. You got to spend 45 minutes going to get him and 45 minutes going back.
I understand
where he's going with it.
But I also see the problem where I could maintain a fleet of 17 capital ships, make sure my organization, if I have a large org, like say Test Squad has, and I maintain these things with all these NPCs, and then I could literally jump around 75 people and teleport them in NPCs at will, and I have a full crew anywhere in the galaxy when I want it, right in a moment's notice.
Yeah, both has its pros and cons. I guess
I'm just saying
time.
That's exactly how I would exploit it immediately. That would be the first thing I would do. I would make sure that my organization facilitated key positions throughout the galaxy and teleport my entire assets of soldiers wherever I want at any moment in time, and I'd be in everybody's crap. And
then
that's
you're taking on an NPC ship, then 5 minutes later, like, whoa, hold on, this shit
it got real.
Got real accurate. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Well, but see, you can combat that with like cooldown timers.
That's what they do in EVE. You can only clone jump so often and stuff. I mean, and then you have the facilities of exactly what Chris didn't want to do. You could also, the other aspect is limit how many you could have jump. Like maybe you could only have one buddy come or two buddies come or something. But again, these are things they don't have quite in yet. But the fact that he still wants to go that route makes me plan that route then, right? So I'm like, okay, well, now we got to start thinking about this. How can I
exploit it?
Yeah, how can I exploit it? Because that's exactly what any gamer would do. And if you don't take advantage of it, there you go.
You're going to be on the losing end.
Well, and on the main thing for me, it makes something like Overwatch that much more effective. We have 20 guys. We can have 20 guys being anywhere in the universe really quick. So, I mean, there's pluses and minuses to it. I'm not a big fan of the Agent Smith thing, but we'll see. After I break it a few times, we'll see if Chris still likes the idea. Because that's what I'm here to do. Also said that they still working on the idea of how to regulate traffic on planets. They do want us to be able to fly next to buildings and through the trenches of ArcCorp now. But I think what they're going to do is not allow you to run into players, and you'll just die if you run into buildings. If you want to suicide, it's just on you. It's not going to impact that. But they want you to have that beautiful view of being able to get down and into that stuff because it just looks so cool.
Will your guns still be off?
I would. Well, I don't know.
Because they said they're going to get rid of the armistice zone thing. And if I can just hover over that little player hub area, just let my guns go off like, ha, troll time.
Yeah, but you probably last 2 seconds.
Have you guys seen the turrets?
Yeah, the turrets will wreck you.
Yeah, have you seen the turrets, though?
I haven't seen it, no.
Yeah, go to Olisar, go out to the top of the center buildings, and there are turrets, like 2 turrets on each building overlooking the pads. They're auto turrets too. They're not. Do
they work?
Nah, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, but then I haven't seen anybody. I think they may have turned them off for now. Yeah,
I'm about to act a fool tonight then, just to test out, see if I get shot.
Yeah,
can't fire.
What's that?
Can't fire yet. They're there. The turrets are there.
Well,
but once they do that test and they flip the switch.
What if you're wanted though, and you go to Port Alisar?
No,
they don't care.
People, no, they won't shoot at. They're not shooting at yet. Because I got wanted at Port Olisar for landing because you know how your ship bounces on the pad.
We get one
I
for.
thought the ships used to chase you. I thought that men used to chase you out
they
of
don't
there.
do it anymore. It's off right now. They don't. Because right now putting your dragonfly into your cutlass gives you criminality if it's your buddy's cutlass and you bump into it too much. They don't have all the settings quite right. Well, yeah, because they don't have it set right, so it doesn't mean anything. Nobody comes after you if you're wanted. You just get criminal.
Not yet.
Not yet. They got to dive that in, because if, like, me nudging my buddy's ship, trying to park a ship in the ship, does that, then it's not going to work out real well, because then everybody's going to die.
I love that option. You could go there when the armistice stones are gone and just shoot people, but then you get fucking hammered by a turret. I love it.
I think that's the way. I think the minute you light up your guns, I think what they should do is you should order your weapons powered down. And if you turn on your weapons, you'll get a warning. Your weapons are on. You have 5 seconds to reply. You don't even have to shoot. So,
and then the turrets start aiming at you.
That's what I'm saying. And so if you want to troll, or if you want to assassinate somebody on the landing pad, you have to be this quick. You have to turn on your weapons, and you have to shoot them before they kill you. And that's like that. And it's like, and you're still going to die, because they're going to wreck you even if you get the shot off. But
it's something like ArcCorp, those big cities. I think
seconds to comply.
Exactly. Ed 209 all day, baby. RoboCop.
Yeah,
do it, baby.
Like Tactical said, somewhere like in ArcCorp, if they see your weapons are on, they need to start having them guns aimed on you. The moment you pull that trigger, fucking wrecked.
Yep. All right. Elwook asks, he says, would you guys feel better about space bikes if they were totally useless against turbulence and wind, like shake like crazy? If they're more susceptible to that stuff.
More susceptible than a plane?
Well, like, because we were talking earlier about me and Uber didn't like the fact they flew. If they're highly susceptible to wind, that wouldn't be a bad.
They will be.
They will be when the higher they are. I think when you go up high with a bike, it should be very susceptible to wind, and when you're lower, maybe a little bit less. You know what I mean? Maybe like the higher sheer winds, that would impact it. That would help, but I still don't think you should fly to 1,000 feet. I don't care how high up the winds affect you. I just don't think you should be able to fly it up to the bottom of the stratosphere before you break orbit, and like in a space bike. It just doesn't make sense to me. So
for me that's just too much.
Jay Lee, I think all of us want the Star Wars speeder bike, buddy.
Yes, we do.
That's the one we all want. We want the speeder bike, and those could go up above trees and stuff, but not like, like in the sky.
Yeah, tell someone to sneak and make us one.
Now, what they should do,
project.
Here's what I would accept. I accept the Dragonfly and the Nox to be able to go up maybe, like I said, about 20, 30 feet to get over obstacles, to come off cliffs and stuff. But then things like the X1, that's a more enclosed vehicle, the higher they can go. I would accept that, because the X1 is like a lot more ship than bike to me, and it could maybe go up higher and things of that nature. More when you start to get to like a closed canopy type spaceship, there you go. But that's about it for me. Let's see. I think the last question we got here. Let's see. Yeah. This will be the last one for tonight. How often should you get pulled out of quantum drive by NPCs? 10% of the time, 5% of the time, 1% of the time. What do you guys think?
No percent of the time. It shouldn't be like, 5% of the time I travel, I'm getting pulled out of. No, it should be where you choose to travel will increase your percentages. But if you're in the safe lanes, if you're in the normal, traffic, it should be a very rare occurrence.
Yeah.
I mean, and not based on percentages, but more based on where you travel.
You can still use percentages, but it wouldn't be static. I agree with Uber Nerd. It'd be like much higher, when I say higher, maybe 10%. And then like almost never in like a monitored space area. Because,
if I'm a high, if I'm a pirate going to UE space,
you're going to get probably pulled out more.
Yeah, there needs to be a high rate, especially if I'm a bad pirate. If I'm that ballsy to go in there and I'm wanted, and UE ships are sectoring around and they can see those tags, man,
they'll pull you out, and then you have to escape each time to get back into quantum.
There is no UEE space in like this entire year. We will not be in UEE space. This is Stanton, which is a privately owned solar system.
But they can simulate areas, like that's where you get the police and the advocacy and stuff like that.
Yeah, the advocacy will be there, and so.
Yeah. You get some of that action.
Yeah.
Toy, what do you
Some of
think?
that action.
Yeah. Not very often.
There you go.
You don't want it to bug you out.
I mean, I wanted him to test the mechanic, but again, anything we test in this mini sandbox, baby PU, alpha PU, is not going to be representative of the whole dynamic star system. You're not really going to get a full taste of what it's going to be like until we have multiple systems. Some have monitored, some have unmonitored, those type of things. Because right now, it's hard to simulate that in a single solar system with some of those types of gameplay. We're having to do just different isolated moons and eventually planets that have different types of criminality versus, all this stuff. And I think whole systems are going to be a little bit different when you go to a true lawless area and versus a UE occupied area. It's going to be dynamically different. I would hope so. Anyway. All right, and that is our final question of the night, guys. So we are going to go over here and we're going to get ready to pull down this beautiful $10 gift card. If you haven't already entered it, please make sure exclamation mark SpaceBros in chat. Throw it up. Do that thing. It's like state versus national. Yeah.
Ooh. Someone put out a podcast with someone I think I'm going to rip apart tonight.
Oh.
Ooh. She has got some busy work to do between going at Crying Tech and them. Oh.
Gio's got content. That's the new that's your new show title right there. Gio's got content.
Geo's incontinent? What?
Right now, Gio's looking at that word. I'm like, what the content? Anyway, let's go over here, and we're gonna get ready to seal this deal down. We got looks like 66 total viewers have entered. Remember, you guys do have to be following everybody on the stream, including Gio. So if you haven't done that yet, exclamation mark SBG in chat. If you've already taken care of that, you are good.
You say that like he's a redheaded stepchild.
Mm-hmm.
Beep, 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 beep.
Well, he was late, so he gets more shit than the rest of the people.
Oh, everybody hate me. No.
Yeah. So as he goes and takes his new interview, right there.
Shake it off.
That's right. Yeah. This card's been sponsored.
Dunn is going to make an appearance.
Yeah. This next gift card giveaway is sponsored by Battlecruiser 3000 AD and its 2 subscribers of that platform. So we took all their summary monthly income and put it into one gift card. So there you go.
It's $12.03.
All the funds go to my game.
All right. There we go.
I think this company has more grounds to sue CIG than anybody else, because that's an endeavor right there. Look at that.
Little bit.
Man.
Doesn't look the same.
Let's see, what is that?
Where's the Super Collider at?
Yeah.
Version 2.1, IBM PC XT AT or PC
Yeah.
Junior. That's some old shit right there. Look at that.
That is old
DOS
shit.
2 Plus to play
right.
it.
Gio looks like an asshole. Oh, wow. That's some criticism. All right, let's draw this thing, guys. Good luck to everybody. 3, 2, 1. Looks like Togar's walking away with this one.
I'm only an asshole to the trolls.
Togar.
I love the SC community.
Make sure he's following all you guys. I'm sure he is. Togar's been around for a minute. So.
Oh, congrats, Toga.
Yep.
Toga.
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 Ooga, ooga.
And email to claim your prize.
Yeah, he's been following me since the middle of July.
I thought you were going to say since the Middle Ages. I was like, great.
Since the Middle Ages.
Yep.
Yeah.
Since he was just a serf on my fiefdom. Toy, you got him?
I'm pretty sure I do.
I think you do. I think Togar's been on everybody's channel a few times. Gio, I'm sure he's following you too.
Yeah, Togar's following me.
Yeah, I figured so. All right. Throw it out there. So congratulations on that. Congratulations, Togar. And guys, we are going to go higgity host somebody here. Just give me 1 minute. Get some love out there. Blop, blop, blop.
Red one.
Red one. There you go. And-
Red rum. Red rum.
Red one.
Oh, I see who we're gonna go hit up.
There we go.
Just because I never see her strumming hardly.
Who?
Huh? We're gonna go hit Texion. I haven't seen her on in a long time. And I have no idea what she's wearing. She looks like she's wearing some awesome sunglasses. So just if no other reason, we're just gonna go hit her up and say hi. That's funny. Try to go help out somebody who doesn't have 700 subs already. Give them a little love, give them a little exposure.
Ha ha ha! Throwing shade.
Yeah, a little bit. Uh-huh.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right. And with that, guys, we're going to bid you good night. We'll see you next time. Have a wonderful evening, guys. We love your faces. And peace out. Peace out. Make sure to hit the raid button, too.
Make sure you click the raid button.
Yep.
Yeah.
Turn
right
turn
up
the
there.
raid
There
in.
it is.
There it is.
Join the
Push
raid.
it. Do the raid. We'll
Push
see you
it.
later.
Push it.
Then let me push it.
See you later.
And we got passport.
That's right. That's right.